Good evening. Today is Thursday, September the 18th. This is a work session of the School Board Trustees for School City of East Chicago, and the time now is 6:12. The place is the School City of East Chicago Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street, Indiana. This is also being shown via live stream at www.scec.k12.in.us. This is a meeting of the school board and the public for the purpose of conducting the school's corporation business and not to be considered a public meeting. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Trustee Gomez,
Present.
Trustee Smith,
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
Trustee Taylor,
Present.
Madam President Gibson King.
Present. And now we'll have our agenda items, which we will call Mrs. Christine to the podium there, and Mrs. Jergensen for Silver's Learning Center. Oh, let me get my papers.
Okay. Good evening, Board. We are here, myself along with Ms. Jorgensen from Sylvan Learning Center, to discuss the results of our Sylvan program that we hosted in the fall of last school year. We do have in front of you some of the documents we'll be talking to. I think I just laid it in front of you so it wouldn't be mixed up with what we're going to go through, and already your very large packet. Okay. The first sheet you'll see is our data trend for iRead. I believe Dr. Bournet presented with you the data for iRead in our current years. So we are proud to say that we have had a trajectory growth in all of our buildings with a 6.4% overall with the district data growing in iRead. So that's your beginning page. On your next page, it talks about the population, the services that we were able to give out to our students. Of the students enrolled in McKinley, Lincoln, Washington, and Harrison, we had a combination of students with a total of 155 students attending. 40% of the students were Hispanic, 55% were African American, 2% were white, and 3 we had multiracial. So those were the target groups that were registered in Sylvan. If you turn the page, this is where we had our data. We had agreed with Sylvan not to utilize their testing system because we had quite a few testing assessments in place. So what we did use was the beginning of year assessment with NWA, which is our benchmark, and we used the middle of the year because Sylvan was only a fall program, and I believe, how many weeks?
It was 30 total sessions.
30 total sessions, which was probably around 12 weeks.
Correct. 3 times a week.
3 times a week. So with that being said, this was we only had the data from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year. On your next page, you'll see a graph titled The Sylvan Return of Investment. You have for you the 155 students. 67 of them passed, which gave us 43% in total from every building that passed iRead. When we went down to look at the growth of each student, out of the 155 students, 72% of them showed growth on our benchmark data. So we had 2 different indicators on the performance of Sylvan. Because there are a lot of variables, we want to make sure that we explain to you the students who were chosen to be a part of the program. So every building has a data team, and they were given the autonomy to get with their data team and decide which students would best suit the program. They had to look at the attendance because we wanted to make sure that it would be somebody that would not take a slot and could dedicate the time to the Sylvan. So their data team decided on what grade level and then what proficiency scale they were going to use to decide who was going to be in the program. So let's first start with Washington. When Washington sat down with their data team, they decided to use their Sylvan program for their 3rd grade students and their 4th grade students who did not pass iRead, who already moved on into other grade levels. Washington decided to put 13 below-level students into Sylvan in 3rd grade and 11 on-level students using their data. Out of the 11, 6 passed, and out of the 13 below, 2 passed. When we look at Washington's 4th grade, they chose 3 on-level students and 14 below-level students. 1 student on-level passed, and 3 students below-level passed. And I'm giving you their proficiency scale because all of these are very different depending on where the child started in their scale score to really capture their growth. Harrison's data team chose to utilize the Sylvan services for Harrison's 2nd grade and Harrison's 3rd grade students. Harrison chose 20 students who scored below and placed them in the Sylvan program, and 3 of those below students passed.
Excuse me. Are these current second, third graders that we're talking about?
No, they're the prior ones, that's where they were placed.
They were moved on.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if they did not pass the iRead, they're in 3rd grade.
Because in the previous page, you said.
Oh, I get what you're saying, because you're asking about the 4th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 4th grade are now 5th grade, and those 5th grade that did not pass, they have to take it again this year.
Right,
Okay.
because, are they taking it because of state law?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
right, some of them did not pass. We have-
So that's why Harrison, they had a very large number of their upper kids. They wanted to go with their upper kids besides so you'll notice that everybody had a decision to make at their building of which students to choose. Harrison we went through 2nd grade. Harrison 3rd grade. Harrison 3rd grade then chose 9 students who scored below and 8 students who were on level. All of the on-level students for 3rd grade passed iRead. And 7 of the 9 below students passed iRead. McKinley targeted 2nd and 3rd grade, but very small percentage in 2nd grade. They had 2 students who were on level that they wanted to give some Sylvan services to. And in 2nd grade, you're not required to pass iRead, but they did have 1 student pass iRead in 2nd grade. And they chose a below student in 2nd grade to get some services. They attempted to pass iRead, but they did not pass iRead. For 3rd grade McKinley, they placed 21 below students and 16 on-level students into the Sylvan services. The 16 who were on level, they all passed, and 10 of the below level students passed for McKinley.
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time.
For McKinley 3rd grade, they placed 21 students
Okay,
who were below level,
all right,
and out of the 21, 10 of them passed.
thank you.
And our last school that participated is Lincoln. Lincoln chose 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So starting with 2nd grade, they placed 1 student on level, and that student did pass iRead in 2nd grade. They also placed 13 of the below level students into Sylvan, and 2 of them passed. 3rd grade then placed 1 on level and 1 passed as well, but they placed 16 below level 3rd graders and 4 passed. And they made a small group of their 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students who have never passed iRead, and 6 of them entered the program, and 3 of them were able to pass it. So in total, of everybody in the program, out of the 155, 43% did pass, but different grade levels, different starting points, and different options for the buildings to have to decide on the placement of the students.
$43
Repeat that percentage again, I'm sorry.
out of 100.
We had 43%.
Okay,
Out of 155, 67 of them passed.
Out of 155?
Correct.
67 passed?
Correct. And out of that same 155, when they took their NWA test to see if they grew in their reading skill in the winter, 112 of them grew, which was the 72% showing growth in their reading skills. I wanted Ms. Jorgensen to give us some factual information. So we did discuss and we met earlier this week, and we just wanted to refresh everybody about the design of the program. Sylvan was contracted for 30 sessions, 3 times a week in our elementary buildings. And I believe everyone in the elementary was a School City of East Chicago teacher who went through the training and support utilizing the curriculum from Sylvan. Our total contract was $282,000. That's what we paid Sylvan for their services for the winter. And was there anything else we mentioned?
Using the funding we used was the,
Oh, and the funding we used to do that first round of Sylvan was through ESSER funds,
What was that amount again?
$282,000.
And this was Esther's, right?
Correct, and that, we did also offer Sylvan at the middle school and the high school. We ran across a lot of situations where the 2 programs at those 2 levels, it was not very successful. Middle school was conflicted with having to decide between after-school curricular activities and the tutoring. So the attendance with the middle school was not very good, where we had enough data to really say this is the fruit of the labor from the Sylvan program. I know that I spoke with Dr. Yanders, and she said that she has shared the progress with the high school because the high school's focus was SAT. When speaking with Ms. Jorgensen, out of the students chosen for that SCT program, there are probably 4 of them that were dedicated to coming for the services. And the other students, once again, it's high school, they have sports, they have other things going on. The program was just not fitting into the schedules of the students at the middle and the high school.
Okay, so that was the junior high school and our high school.
Correct.
Well, I know that we would like for them all to have participated, but by the 3rd graders have to be retained.
Correct.
This would be something for them, since they did participate.
Yes, and that's why you notice that all the schools chose 3rd grade as part of their, because they only had 40 slots per elementary school as well. They could not choose everybody, so they had to sit with their team and decide who was going to be able to participate.
I have a quick question. On this first page, I see you're like you said, you've outlined the trajectory. Let me see how I can articulate my question.
Yeah.
Is this, okay, does this calculate the students that participated and did not participate? Like, is this total, or this is just the same 155 that we kind of followed?
Okay, so 155, the number that I gave you, they're encompassed into their school score. So if you think about Harrison, when I went through Harrison's data, 3rd grade only had, let me go to Harrison's really fast. 3rd grade in Harrison, using the Sylvan program, it included their 15 that did pass.
You say, let me get to Harrison.
It included the 15 that did pass.
Correct. They're included in Harrison's score of 67.2%.
Okay, so that is the total of Harrison, including, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President?
Yes, Trustee Gomez.
So the 282, I don't recall the contract, but I think there was a number associated with that. Do you recall what the number of students that was the target of this 282?
Well, like, for the elementary, it was 160 students at the elementary level, because each building was given 40 places, but in the contract, I think it did have a number.
I think that, no, that is the number, I believe,
Okay.
about 40. The ones, 160
I'm
total.
curious why, why would you have on-level students participate in this?
On-level students are considered bubble students, meaning their predictor of passing the iRead, it's a very fine line. And so our thought was that they have enough prerequisites to stay on top of them to pass iRead, to put their focus on them. Sometimes we put all our focus on the kids who are the lows, that we lose the kids who are on track. So our goal was, let's not lose those kids who are on track, and let's keep them moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, can you explain again about the middle schools, why they didn't participate too much? Because, and the Central High School, because you said of sports and,
I know that
All of
Central
it.
High School was concentrating on the SATs, right?
yeah, right.
Correct.
And then
But the middle school,
What we found, and I think it's something we had talked about with Dr. Yanders, was it's something that we want to work on, is that a lot of the kids who did come to the program, when they did come, they wanted more homework help. They wanted the tutor from Sylvan to help them with their homework opposed to the reading program. And once they started figuring out, I have to do this reading program, my attendance is now becoming low and I don't want a part of it. So we tried, we called parents, we let them know. And then of course, when they're that age, we really have to have the parents on our side just to see how valuable this is. Because if not, they just walk home or they just catch the bus. So our little ones, the mom knows they got to pick them up. They'll stay after they sign, but we really struggled with them. And we are going to work with Dr. Yanders because we thought that was very interesting that they wanted to stay after, the ones that did, but they wanted help with their homework.
as opposed to,
Correct.
so,
And some of the instructors, I don't mean to cut you off, but some of the instructors, what they actually did was they tried to accelerate or speed up Sylvan to leave some time at the end of their tutoring purposely to help them with their homework because that's what the kids wanted to do.
Well, and I think with that also, there were a lot of factors. One is what the kids were used to, and the after-school tutoring programs that they had been attending for years were always considered like drop-off tutoring. The teacher's there if you need some help in your homework, and you can just go when you want to. So that was a tough hurdle, and I think some of the students that signed up, as was stated, wanted more of a homework support. It's tricky when a student is in 8th grade and they have 5th grade math skills, and we're working on a program that's doing 5th and 6th grade math skills to improve their overall skill level so that they can do better in any math class they're in because they have a solid foundation in math. But the students are like, I have a math test tomorrow and I don't understand any of the stuff that's on it because it's at the 7th or 8th grade level. So it was just that's part of it. And the conflicts with sports and other things that they wanted to do. And Dr. Yanders gave some examples too of parents buy-in where the student wanted to be there, but the parent needed the student home to watch the other kids. So I think there's family dynamic issues, there's custom issues, how they're used to a program being drop-off. So I think there were a lot of factors like that in both the middle school and the high school, where there's just less control over attendance.
and the sad part about it, the parent don't realize how important that particular
Grade level.
program is to go to the next level for high school. So I guess maybe we're, as a district, and you all as educators, we're gonna have to brainstorm and try to get these parents to understand the importance, especially at middle school. Wow.
So let me ask you, Mrs. Jurgensen, you do St. Stan schools too, right?
Yes.
Do they have these problems that we have at their school with what grade levels do you do over there?
Usually K through 8,
K
and
through 8?
no.
They don't have these problems, right?
I would say no. I would say that fewer middle school kids sign up for it. That program's been running pretty,
Right.
it's established. When the parents sign the kids up, they know
Okay.
what they're
What they're
signing
gonna be
up
doing.
for.
Okay.
What they're gonna be doing. I
Yes.
mean, I don't have the exact timeline of when that started, but I would say it's been at least 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I know
that
it's been a
that's
while.
been going on. So there's fewer middle school kids that sign up for it, but but no, there's
Okay.
not the attendance problems.
So in other words, we need Parent University to try to, well, I know you all have communicated with them. We have to try to get a way to get those parents in that middle school, get those students. I don't know. I just hate that, you know.
Yeah, and then I would add too, that the high school, there were groups that targeted for SAT specifically. And there were students in there that were very committed to it, but there also were other groups that were not SAT. We had some students who had reading levels, some ninth graders with reading levels at the 7th grade. So, and I actually got a lot of feedback from that teacher. And another thing I just wanted to mention, that some of the anecdotal feedback I got, one, the teachers that we hired were primarily East Chicago teachers. I would go so far as to say like 99% of the staff was East Chicago. I sometimes would have to send a sub in, that wasn't from East Chicago, but for the most part, it was East Chicago staff. And the teachers were wonderful. They really were. I felt they embraced the program really well. They were highly qualified teachers. They were committed to it. And the feedback that I got from the teachers and the building supervisors, each program had paras and a building kind of program manager at the building, was that the kids who were committed to doing it felt a lot of benefit, that the teachers would see the improvement as it was happening. And so I felt it was a lot of success. I think we cast too wide of a net for the high school and for the middle school. If we were gonna do any type of program, for those, it could be really consolidated down to the students who want to do it and who are going to commit to doing it. But in the elementary school, the attendance was great. The teachers loved the curriculum. I got feedback from teachers saying, oh, this student who in the classroom is a real, behavioral problem, difficult to keep on task, distracting student who they weren't necessarily really even excited to see participating in this group, was that in the small group instruction with the way the curriculum is laid out, and how engaging it is, that the kind of the behavioral problems disappeared for those students in this context. So there were a lot of wins, especially for the first time putting a program like this on. I think we had tremendous support from the administration, from the teachers who were doing it, a real committed group. And I think the big successes were in the elementary school.
Yeah, so I see that there was a lot of improvement with you all.
Yeah, well, and Sylvan is designed to supplement, not supplant. So
Right.
whenever we have programs like this, there's what Sylvan's doing, and there's also all the things that the school's doing. So there's a lot of, and that's what makes data a little hard to to go through. Would I say it was all Sylvan? No. I do definitely believe, though, that Sylvan played a role.
That's what I'm trying to
in the-
say.
In the
Yeah.
success, and a significant role.
Right.
And I would say when we were looking at the data also, when there's essentially two sets of data, right? One is the iRead, and we're looking at how many kids passed. And when you see those bar graphs, it looks like, wow, this school had a nice passage rate with Sylvan, and then the next school had a low passage rate for the iRead with Sylvan. But if you dig a little deeper into the numbers, and I think that's what was being expressed too, when you dig a little deeper into the numbers, the school that there's a school that had like 10, was it Lincoln?
Lincoln.
That had like only 10 kids pass the iRead. But when you look at the growth of the kids, it was really high. It was like 75%. I don't want to misquote the numbers. The 33 out of 36 students grew at Lincoln, but only 10 passed the iRead. So that you're wondering, well, why? But that goes back to Mr. Gomez, your question, where it depends on the students that are in it, because some schools chose the bubble kids, who had a chance at passing, but are in danger still, nonetheless, of not passing. And then a school like Lincoln chose a lot of red zone kids that their growth would have had to be huge to pass. So it was moving them. So the data can get really complicated in that way, but from all of the feedback I got, the elementary program was a success.
Oh, okay, so what would your recommendation be then if we, oh, I'm sorry.
Madam President, I do
Go
have
ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Trustee. With regards to the sessions, obviously, you stated 30 sessions per school or per student?
Correct, per student,
Are
yeah.
those sessions one-on-one session mentoring, or is this just more of a classroom type?
It's small group, so it's a max 8 students per teacher. But the groupings are cohort-based, so you have the students kind of grouped who are at the same level. And then it's small group instruction.
And can you, you sort of gave us an overview on some of the success examples, but can you share maybe like an example of a success of a student from East Chicago, sort of like who may have overcame or some of the boundaries that they may have been trying to overcome, how Silva played that role?
Yeah, we would have to, there's a grid that I do have that breaks students down into subgroup, but we did have some special ed students. And I believe one school had, I don't want to quote it wrong, but 2 or 3 of our special ed students who were into the program were able to pass iRead. And that's a goal for us too, is to get all of our subgroups, reading. So that was a nice cherry on top to the program to get those, to get them reading.
Yeah, so for a specific student, because I don't have their names, do you know what I mean? I don't, so that's kind of hard, but what I would say is that the vast majority of the teachers were excited about the program, and they all had my number. I was the one, if they needed different curriculum, if they need, whatever, if they're dry erase markers. So they were, or if they weren't gonna be there, they were, used to texting me. I was in good communication, and I was getting frequent and regular messages from a significant number of teachers saying, wow.
And they felt supported. I don't know if we mentioned in the program, we also had site coordinators that kind of alleviated our principals from monitoring. It gave the coordinator and being able to pop in and giving support to them as well, cover for them, and also help them through the curriculum. And yes, her own personal phone number was passed out to all of our teachers, and you have a question, she would definitely text back.
And the site coordinators did a great job, and then all of the buildings had at least 2 paraprofessionals also that were rotating in and helping the teachers. You know, if they had a student that needed to go to the restroom or needed a student that needed to be pulled aside for a little one-on-one because they were struggling with a concept. So the feedback I got I got a lot of feedback as well that, again, that they loved the curriculum, but that there's some small group techniques, small group management techniques that they learned during the training, and dry erase boards, and there's a lot of, manipulatives with tokens handing out for motivation. And so I got some feedback from many teachers too, that some of the small group techniques that they learned in it, and some of the ways of teaching a concept that they learned by teaching the program, they then incorporated into the classroom.
Madam President, I have 2
Yes,
questions.
trustee Taylor.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, I have 2 questions. First question, were there any language barriers that played a role or factored into these outcomes?
Absolutely, because the program, just like there were students who had some special needs, there were students who were non-English speakers. And that was the other great thing about using East Chicago teachers, because we had teachers who were bilingual, who were working with English language learners, and then were able to incorporate that in program delivery.
Okay. My second question, it's going to be a little loaded. So I hear you guys speak, you guys spoke earlier about how students that were on levels were selected, as well as students that were below level. And now you got this dynamic of the language barriers. Is the curriculum a cookie cutter curriculum, or do we, I almost feel like we were trying to target 2 goals at one time, like, okay, we want to grow the student, right? But then we also want to increase our scores. So where are we putting our efforts, like, into? I mean, I know it's a blended type of goal, so to speak, but I almost feel like, and I don't know, I do adult education, but if I have a student that's on level, right? Is the curriculum different, or is the teaching different when you have the kid who's below level?
So,
I hope I'm expressing myself
yes,
correctly.
you are. So I can answer that. The curriculum is designed to move test scores. Like, that's the sole goal.
That's the main
of
goal, move test
curriculum,
scores. Okay.
is to move test scores. The curriculum, though, it's designed, it can be very scripted. So if you have a new teacher who doesn't have the experience, like, I could give any of you the curriculum and you could read it and get through it. But it's also adaptable. So
Okay.
teachers bring their own talents and experience, and then certain things are designed so if I'm teaching 2 people the same thing and one has a little better grasp on it than the other one does, the questions that I would pose are flagged as either like with a little up arrow. So I would naturally present that question to the one who
Okay.
can dig deeper into the concept. And then, so yes.
Okay.
Within the curriculum itself, the teacher has the ability
To pivot and, okay,
to vary it for the individual learner.
okay. Thank you.
So are there any more questions? So my question was, so do you think that we did benefit from Sylvan's and with our teachers as well? So my question is, and you were only there from October to December, so that was a short period of time. And it was just to see how well, or what we were going to do, if I'm not mistaken. So I do think that we did produce some improvement from the years of services 23, 24, 25.
Yes.
So I guess I would like to know if it would be a way we could keep them or to better a longer period of time, because I think that was some of the conversation. If I'm not mistaken, if they did do okay, we would try to keep them. We was a trial basis, if I'm not mistaken. Christine?
Well, I know it was ESSER funding, so
Yes.
it was kind of in that grant situation. But we just discussed the amount, and with that same amount, we have to understand that some of these students who were placed in the program, they were what we call like a double dose or a triple dose. We have interventions that happen during the day, so they were part of Reading Horizons intervention. So besides getting the Reading Horizons intervention, they were now going to Sylvan at night. So when we take away from the pot of things that we're already doing during the day, which is always going to be our main thing, what can we do during the day? We can do Reading Horizons during the day. We can do the programs at the time we have control of the kids. After school, sometimes we don't have control over. So if we're going to take away from during the day interventions and curriculum, there has to be a give somewhere. So that was a very large amount from ESSER. I don't know if our title has enough in there, and then are we willing to wager the couple of weeks on on doing that with the program that we already do have? So it's gonna have to be a discussion with funding, is what I'm saying. But if we do that and the funding goes down, then some of the things we're already doing great during the day with the teachers, then that will be removed.
Madam
Yes, go ahead, trustee
So
Rodriguez.
how was the attendance, because you're saying that this is more of an after-school program.
Right.
So how was the attendance with the students after school?
Well, the attendance was well, because remember, there was a criteria that the principals sat to see which of these students we can get contracts with the parents. The parents are going to say, yes, I will send my student. They can get a seat. Or if it was somebody who we knew never came to school, we wouldn't hold a slot for them. We wanted to make sure that we were going to utilize part of the attendance as a reason to get into the program.
So out of 155 students, you're looking at probably an 90% or 80% attendance rate?
Oh, yeah, the elementary had a great attendance rate.
And the reason why I ask is because when you look at 155 students, that's equating to about $1,800 per student, right? And with the 43% success ratio, you're almost looking at probably about $63 per student in a session.
Yeah, well, that was, remember, the number I gave you was just the elementary numbers. 45 seats were held at the middle school, and then I'm not sure what the high school seats were, but that was a different. So besides the 40, 40, 40, 40, it was also 45 for the middle school.
So in other words, what was proposed to us in signing the contract was the amount of students that we've approved. That
Yes,
was going to be part of the program.
correct.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier that we only had 40 slots per school. Okay.
They took extras. Some of the teachers took extras.
Okay.
We won't tell the Sylvan, though.
No, we knew.
No.
We try to, the session, the number of students we take in a session, if I have a spot and there's more than that, I just take it. If there's a group that has only 5 kids in it and the school needs a couple more, we take them.
So it's just mainly a discussion of looking at where we were with all of our reading instruction, because we do a lot in the class, and you're hearing all these variables, and your mind is wondering, so as it is for ours, because there's just a lot of variables, like I say. Kids are getting intervention, they're getting small group, they're getting U-Fly, they now have licensed teachers, so there's a lot of different variables that are now affecting the data that we just can't pinpoint and say, this is the reason why. So that's very hard for
No,
her.
we can't pinpoint it, but it's a start. This was a start right here. And I think that's what this whole thing was all about, seeing where we were at with our children and where we were gonna move forward, okay?
Yeah.
So, you know,
In my experience, we're kind of talking about two different things. Is one, you know, was it a good program? Did the kids like it? Did they improve? Did the school buildings enjoy doing the program in their school? I think those were all huge successes. The other question is, well, how do you pay for it? And I think that's almost the harder thing, you know, no matter how great it is. You know, when there's a limited bucket of funds, which keeps draining, it seems like year after year, instead of the buckets getting bigger for our children, where there's more funds flowing to the most at-risk kids, there seems to be less. So that's always a balancing act, and, you know, your budgets are way out of my zone, but we put programs together, the best program that I'm able to put together for what you tell me you have to spend. And so sometimes, you know, it's a case of, if you look at St. Stan's, if you go back historically, you know, you had to set aside their title money, Title 1A for non-public schools, that money had to be set aside. Well, it wasn't being spent. That's why they called us in. Teachers and administrators are so taxed with everything that they're already having to do for the classroom, to have a teacher say, oh, well, I'll develop an after-school curriculum and I'll do, and so it's a turnkey. You know, it really is a turnkey. It takes a lot off of the plate of the school to have somebody else come in an organized way, get everybody trained, get all the curriculum set up. I mean, you can't imagine the hours and hours that takes to get the kids, you know, ready and enrolled. So it takes a lot of administrative work and oversight. But so you would have schools like that just had the money available but didn't have the human resources, the staff to spend it. They couldn't, their teachers were teaching doing the basketball coach and speech club, and you know, they're so sometimes it's that this consistency of having it if the money is there. You know, and then in other scenarios, you would have a school that maybe had planned to hire 2 resource teachers to come in and then never actually hired them. So then that funding is sitting there, or, you know, writing specific grants for something innovative and new at the school. So the funding, you guys know more than I do but that figure, you know, the 282 or whatever it was, it doesn't, to have successful programs in the school, you don't have to get to that number. It could be smaller, or if a particular school isn't spending their title money, you know, and always has a surplus because they're not doing it, then that could be targeted too. So those are some big decisions for you guys.
yeah, well, my concern was for all of them, but I know that if we had any dollars that we could use, those ones that have to be retained, those are third graders, because the rest of them has already been passed on anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't have a lot of them don't want to do, because they've been already gone and doing whatever they've been doing before, you know. So if we could, you know, the third graders, you know, in the elementary schools.
Correct. You could do, that's what I mean. You could kind
Yeah.
of target it however you wanted to target it with whatever funds you have available. So if there's X amount of dollars available and Christina tells me these are the building goals, then I can build a program that fits in those parameters.
Okay. Well, any more questions from anybody?
Madam President,
Yes, trustee Gomez.
it's probably more of a comment. I was
Oh, go ahead.
real curious, because this was remember a conversation at Harrison, I believe it was, where I asked if you had done public schools before. And this was your first time doing public?
No, it was the first time in a district like this lately. So, you know what I mean, in the recent, like, we've primarily have done charter schools and non-public schools. But we have done programs with public schools. We did the last big program that I can recall off the top of my head, the last big one we did was in Gary. And we got about halfway through that program when COVID hit and the schools all shut down. So no, it's definitely not the first.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that I had my reservations about the program then. Matter of fact, I don't think I voted in favor of it. But I can see some benefit to it from, we have 3 years of data in front of us, and it looks like an overall 6% increase from 2023 to 2025. I know funding's an issue, but I would be in favor of continuing this program. However, we have to structure it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Got anything to say, Dr. Bonet? Oh. Pardon? Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. Yes. That's right. We give them, and this is what they use their dollars for. That ain't, that's been all years they've been doing that.
Hi, Linda Randolph, 4437 Alder. I was one of the first among the first Chicago schools that used Sylvan back in, I retired 2007, so a long time ago. And it was very beneficial. I worked in a housing project where our children didn't see a lot of extra, and Sylvan comes in with curriculum and pizzazz. I think what we have to be careful with, the students that we pick. I have been a special ed teacher for 20 years, and I wanted to make sure all my special ed and my children that were failing got this great opportunity. And they grew. But when you grow from F to D, you're still in trouble. So the reason they select bubble kids, the kids that look like they stand a chance, is because you'll move that needle for how much success you're having. Mm-hmm. So who you pick is very important. Hopefully there's enough money where we can help everybody. And the time of day that you offer it, some programs are during the day. Well, if they do it during the day, they're missing something else. Some programs are after school and they don't come. I think that Sylvan had a short amount of time. And if you look at the time, when you're talking November, December, between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and break.
Right. There
Really?
was no time.
So, but I can testify that taking the school from the bottom to the top, Sylvan played an important role back in the early 2000s. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sir.
So I know one of the great factors impacting us moving forward, and we thank for the partnership with Sylvan, that we had to pilot, which I think was one of the goals that the board wanted to see is the pilot. Our financial future probably is one of the impediments of moving forward with the partnership. Obviously, we will be looking at a number of factors that impact student outcomes, and how we support our teachers in delivering that instruction and differentiating instructional practices during the school day, as well as what other types of enrichment and support we can provide our staff and students in after school will be recommendations from the superintendent.
Thank you all so much for your time.
Oh, and we appreciate you, Mr. Jefferson and
Thank you.
Miss Christine. Thanks a lot.
A really nice presentation, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Just so you know, after I voted no on that, I got a phone call from our board president, Ms. Gibson King. She gave me an earful.
Huh?
Thank you. You did a great job.
Told you to leave it alone from the beginning. Never mind.
Okay, so, okay, this is all my stuff right here. So I guess now we'll go into the pre-board, part of this now.
Yes. Are there any questions for the claim docket?
Get to the claim docket.
Well, not gonna do this tonight.
Okay.
Do it on Tuesday night.
What page you got?
I'm not gonna take up all your time.
Trustee Smith?
I promise, some of the questions I already asked. Okay, I only have like 4 or 5. Okay, Ms. Simmons? I promise, it's only like 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of them I already know the
Oh,
answers.
what
but
page you on?
1.
Page 1, okay.
And after this, we're gonna change that process, how we do it.
Oh, yes.
Get out there.
Yeah, you was talking about that.
Okay, Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
all right. Page 1,
Page 1?
claim 9000001. It's easy.
I don't even see it, unless I got the wrong docket.
It's the second line item.
I got the wrong docket.
Oh, okay, you're in the claims numbers. Okay, I'm sorry. So this was accumulation over the last year of our head of our junior ROTC buying uniform items
Okay.
for our cadets.
Okay. Okay. Same page, I already explained it, but I need you to explain it. Page 1, claim 89971.
This is a purchase of athletics, golf cart for the soccer field and the football field, and any other outside events that is taking place in the district.
And that money was taken and out of what, dear?
So this money, since this is a capital project, which is, not project, I mean, a capital purchase, it's over $5,000. So we had to pay it out of operations on this side, but I got reimbursed from the athletic fund, that came in on his side. So I have the check from the high school that I got reimbursed for this.
Thank you. Okay, the next one is, well, page 3, but that came out of the Perkins grant,
What number was that, though?
89990. Page 3, claim 89.
Yes, this is a hotel, probably for the, I'm gonna say it had to be someone related to CTE.
Okay,
CTE, you said?
Yes.
and it came from.
I think they went on a conference. I do believe the CTE director and another, employee was going on a conference.
Okay, page 3. All right, claim 90002. I asked the question and it was given to me, but I'd like for you to explain it to them.
This was a reservation for a large group going to Indianapolis for a conference. I do believe the invoice, have the details behind it.
It does, I believe. So I just want to make sure I interpreted it correctly. Were these individuals from St. Stan's and not here?
These were the ones from St. Stan's. They had a conference down, so they just, actually, we have to pay in advance for them, and I do believe they just went down
The 16th,
this weekend. Yeah, the 16th. I think it was this weekend they went down.
yeah. Okay,
Okay, I just want to ask a question. Why do we have to pay for St. Stan's?
That's title dollars.
Oh, their
Dr.
title, it came out their title dollars?
Yes.
Okay, all
okay,
right.
it comes, okay, St.
St.
Stan's,
Stan's title dollars.
St. Stan's title dollars. I'm trying to. Okay.
That's title
was-
one.
Well, I was gonna, well, No, page 14. Claim 90351. I know it says Scholastic Book Club. I'm just saying, I'm just wondering, did we do a contract with them or MOU?
So no, we do not. This is, supplies.
90351, is that the number?
90351.
Yep.
9035.
You said it was a what, a surprise?
Your supplies.
Oh, supplies, oh. Okay, and, I just have one more question for you. I see that we have a lot of Medicaid from, I don't know if you call it special ed anymore, but.
Which,
exceptional
on which
learning.
page are you on?
Yeah, no, this is just a question to you.
Oh,
So
okay.
are we getting reimbursed from our Medicaid, for all of our services? You know how.
We
put the-
get reimbursed a certain amount per student.
Okay,
We do get that back.
okay.
Yeah, that comes back in,
So somebody is applying for our Medicaid reimbursement?
Yes, we actually, one of these, companies with the special department that we have is called Go Solutions. Or they
Oh,
might be
that's
done
what Go
changed their
Solutions is
names
for.
again. They changed their name a lot, but they do our applications for that.
Well, thank you. That's all I have. Anybody else?
Yeah. I just see something here on page 16. The number is 90285.
I think that was the student that did the internship with transportation from special education, I believe it was.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, we at the bottom, yeah.
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 You say it was a student that did what now?
The internship with the transportation department.
Okay. Oh, transportation. Okay. All right, thank you.
I just have two questions. So, page 1, claim number 89975, and page 8, claim number 90307.
Page 8, you said?
Yes.
Page one?
You said page 1, 89975.
Yes.
Yes, and page 8, claim number 90307.
Page 8.
Let's see.
Okay.
890, oh, okay, I see it. Oh, yeah,
Oh, Lord, yes.
yes.
Yes,
So, I saw the invoices that were scanned.
correct.
There's itemization on claim number 8, I see itemization for claim number 90307. Guess my question is, I understand how retainer fees work on a monthly. Do we have itemization for what happens within the retainer, number 1, and then number 2 is is page 8, are these
They not separate. I'm gonna tell you that
outside
now.
of the retainer? Exactly.
Yeah, they're outside of the 30 hours that is paid on the retainer.
Okay. So I want to caution the board to be
Yeah.
mindful of that, because if you go back from January to current date,
Yep.
anything outside of that monthly is costing us a really nice pretty penny.
So with that, okay, I'm gonna wait, ask a question after you get
And-
through trustee Taylor too.
So, and the itemization and in the invoices is itemized pretty much every request we ask them to do. So these are really our expenses.
Oh, that's what I want to know.
And every call that you make, you're being charged for that. Don't think you're not being charged for
So
it.
this is not the school district expense, these are our expenses, things that we're asking them to do outside of that retainer.
Right.
Just want to be mindful of that, because I did the math, and that dollar amount is really high, and it's only September.
Uh-huh, and so I know that, let me ask you, you finished, trustee Taylor? I'm gonna
Yep,
ask a
those were the
question.
two.
Yeah, so I know that some of the school employees uses him too as well, right?
Nope.
Well, I've seen some things with some of the teachers.
You probably.
Teachers' names, I've seen that they use him.
No.
Well, I see the
So
names
if it's
there.
something that is being requested through the
Yeah.
board,
No, we didn't, I don't think we requested it.
It's an itemization, yeah, you can read the
we did?
There's a
description.
whole lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We
these are things that we've
requested
requested.
Yeah, but I mean, that was, I got it now.
No, this is just this year.
This year.
Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
in terms
So
of
explain
who
that then, break it down.
has direct contact with the attorney or
Mm-hmm.
the attorney's office, obviously the firm. So
Yeah.
our special ed director does send contracts
Yeah.
and does have
See,
a
they got
number
something
of
else.
cases that does require our legal opinion.
Right.
But the law firm specifically deals with employees that are exempt
Yes,
and not covered by the labor attorney.
right.
And then the other issues would be anything else that's expressed to the board through the superintendent. And so obviously, those might be contracts reviews. But I believe trustee Taylor's are talking about those things that are above
Yes.
contract
Contract.
reviews.
That's what she's talking about.
Also keep
That's
it-
what I'm talking about.
Also, keep in mind the fact that there's two parts of what the attorney does. One is his retainer for the monthly meetings.
Right.
The second is the court,
500.
and things that he does to, outside of the meetings, he has to go to court and all that stuff. So that also accumulates as well. I think that even the fee is different too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's broken down.
Yeah.
Every fee's broken down on the invoices. They start on page 12, 13,
I have my invoices, they at home.
and a lot of them are,
Board,
yeah, they're board requests
yep.
outside of his retainer, and some of it outside of his scope.
Yeah, she has it broken down. It's
Yes,
a
because
lot
I
of
know you
board
got all of the invoices that you had requested. Okay, so I think that, I'm gonna ask this question. Well, before I got on the board, I think that there was some conversation that he said that he would kind of do some adjustments or something. Somebody was telling me that.
Yes.
Is that what they- You know, I'm just asking before I got on the board. I'm just saying what I
Yeah.
heard them say. Is that correct, Jesse?
Yes, I remember that
Okay,
conversation.
but I know that's what I
had
was told when I got
requested,
on there.
or asked the question if there was a way we could look at a fee structure that would not incur hourly costs, but I think the board at that time just let it go on. But I do recall that our board attorney was open to conversation, so
Something we should discuss in the executive.
I
Yeah, I
think,
just wanted to bring that out, but we can
Okay.
discuss it in a,
But thank you for,
I just need
Ms.
to
Taylor, for
ask
bringing it
that,
up.
yeah, ask that question, so we can talk about that too. Okay. To my agenda.
Next.
I did have two, or, yeah, I think one or two questions. Just going back to page one,
Oh, you still with
there
the,
were, there were two charges here.
same docket we still on?
Yes,
What page?
page one.
Oh,
There were
okay.
two purchases related to the golf cart.
Yeah.
What, we just talked about that.
I know I'm asking another question.
one, the golf cart was ordered prior to the additional add-on. So that's the reason why there's two invoices.
Okay, and the only reason I'm asking is that, and I know we discussed this already, but I had an additional question. My additional question is that 450 invoice, I do not see paperwork in here.
Okay.
I don't see the supporting documentation.
Oh, okay, I can add it in there.
Okay, that was my one question.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anything else? Trustee Taylor?
Anybody
No,
else got
that's all
any-
I had.
Any more questions? Okay, so then we'll just, okay. Go
Oh,
on to the
I'm
next-
sorry,
oh, Got something else?
I'm sorry, it was related to trustee Rodriguez will remember this. When the elected board first got together, we were reviewing budget expenditures, professional development, travel, et cetera. And as part of that, we came up with a decision to require individuals who are attending conferences to ride together, room share, et cetera. It seems to me that practice has gone away. Is that correct?
I was not here, I was
I
not
understand.
privileged to that, because, every travel policy that I see does not have no details in there that they ride together or sleep in the same room. I have never seen that travel policy since I've been here, since 2017.
Yeah, and I'm explaining that because I know this was prior to your time. But that was I don't know how you got away from that, but, it certainly is, we're looking at, tightening budget. Maybe something that we should consider.
Okay, I'm gonna turn that over to legal, because I do know that there's some legal part about that. So I'll get with Jewel and Mr. Snow
Sure.
to ask about the legal part of sharing rooms and all that.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Trustee Gomez, I don't think that there's even a State Board of Accounts. I think that what State Board of Accounts states that if anything that's over 70 miles away from your district and starts that morning, it's comparable. I mean, you can move forward with it, but as far as sharing room with board, I mean, I don't think that's I've never heard of that.
I didn't say it was a requirement, I said it was a discussion of the board when we first convened.
Okay, I don't remember.
I'm sorry, Ms. Simmons, I do have one other question. This is regarding American seal coating. One of the line items here has removal of concrete settings left by the other company for a total of either 2,800 or 2,500. Why would we have to pay for something?
So the removal of the concrete was to expand into the sidewalk, so we had a smoother transition, because prior to the company coming in for that, it just dropped off the side because of the sidewalk compared to where it was at when it was originally done as a tennis court. So we had to remove all that off of the side of the court. And it's on the side of the fence facing the golf course that it had to drop off. Because the original tennis court was like they had maybe stacked it like 2 or 3 times. And when they went through and paved it, they paved it back over, that they grinded up, but there was still another inch. So they just smoothed that side out.
Okay, I was reading this as if somebody left their stuff there.
No. This was all repairs, basically to what we were trying to improve on the golf course.
Perfect.
Not the golf course, but facing the golf course. Yeah, yep.
All right, thanks. Get her steps in.
Are there any other questions regarding the claim docket? Okay, if there are no other questions regarding the claim docket, we do have a very brief number of items under new business. The first item is an MOU with Girl Scouts of Greater Chicago, Northwest Indiana. The board will note that since the most previous policy regarding programs was passed, we are aligning new business to that board proposal template. So even though Girl Scouts is an existing partner, this is not the first time, we are making sure we align that practice. So you do have 2 items, the proposal template as well as the MOU. Any questions regarding Girl Scouts at Harrison Elementary?
I do have a question, just give me a second.
Yes.
Me too, because I didn't know where they was at, to be honest with you.
Can I make a comment about
Yes.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just had a quick question. So, in the template, oh gosh, where did it go? So I read the MOU, and I guess there is a cost to be a member, but there's financial aid available. Is that spelled out in the template and I missed it, or?
Let me check again. In the template, the cost would be if there's
Yeah,
a cost
back
that
in.
we pay. So it should
Oh, okay.
be, yes.
Yep.
Did you say we have to pay?
No, no,
No,
so
it would be in our template if it's a cost that we have to
that we pay, right. But this would be a charge to if the student wants, then the family would be the one to pay that. And they have financial aid available for the family, so it's not an expense on us.
Right.
Understood. Thank you.
You going way back.
Okay. no problem.
I'm really glad to see Girl Scouts of America. They
Yeah.
should bring the brownies. Do they still have the brownies?
I don't know about the
Sure,
brownies.
there's levels.
I know Daisy, Brownie, then Girl Scout. I was one of all of them. Okay.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, trustee Gomez.
just curious, as we're discussing the legalities of the proposals that come in front of us, has this been reviewed by Attorney Harris?
See, what's gonna be what now?
Has this been reviewed by the attorney?
I can answer that. I actually just reviewed it this afternoon, and I did make a couple of comments to the rep from the Girl Scouts about a couple things that would change.
Is this document, I received this 2 days ago, so what changes?
The request that we made to them is to, number one, I want to make sure that the MOU as it's drafted is entered into between the Girl Scouts and Harrison Elementary. So I think that probably needs to be with the school corporation as a whole.
It should be.
Yes, and then the other thing is the indemnification provision only goes one way, so I suggested some language to make it mutual, so that we're indemnifying them if it's a harm caused by our facility or the state of our facility or the actions of our employees, but they would indemnify us if it's some kind of harm caused by one of their staff or one of their people.
So if this would be extended to the school as a whole, then is the contact person still Ms. Linda Padilla?
I think so, because Harrison Elementary's hosting it, as far
Okay.
as I know. It's just that I don't know that they can contract with the individual school.
Okay,
That's a question I had for Jewel, and I had kind of mentioned it to the lady, but that's an easy fix. You just replace all the references and note that Harrison is the one that's hosting the programming.
What you're really saying, it should be open to the whole district, basically.
Well, I guess that would be a practical effect of that, but it's not necessarily what I'm not suggesting. It sounds like this is an initiative that Ms. Padilla took the wheel for Harrison, and so if other schools want to follow suit, then I think you could add them into this, or you would have similar MOUs. But legally, I don't think an individual school, I think the corporation is the entity that can enter into a contract. I think the individual school, I'm not sure that that's the one to actually enter into an MOU. I think you can enter into an MOU at the corporation level that references a certain program that's going on in one of the schools. I think that's the right way to do it. So, it's it's something I got to look into a little bit, but I don't know that the individual school administrations have the ability to independently contract, because there's all kinds of issues. You know, if you allowed that, then, I mean, conceivably, like, you could play out the string to where if Central just decided they wanted to fix their HVAC system and they just wanted to hire somebody, the principal could just go do it. You know, like, it's just a different, it's a legality, but it's.
and this is the first time we had Girl Scouts?
Yes.
It's the first one I can remember.
We used to have Girl Scouts here.
No, they had them
It's not a new
Oh,
program.
no, I'm saying like in our school district. It's the first time we've had
We
it.
used to have them.
No, we had them.
Girl Scouts and Boy
That's,
Scouts.
I said earlier, it's not new, we're just.
That's what I thought I heard you
bringing-
say, so I was wondering how the MOU looked like before.
Hell, that was so long ago.
Well, that's the
don't-
question.
I don't remember, yeah, I don't remember ever seeing one for them,
You know,
so.
one day we came to the meeting and they had some Girl Scout cookies out in the hallway there.
They were just selling them.
Yeah,
But that was an independent.
Those are independent,
chapter.
yeah.
Right.
That was just an independent, little chapter, but no. If other schools wanna join in, then let them do their own MOU. I'm just, we don't wanna complicate it.
Nick needs to take back, right?
Okay,
Madam President,
yes, trustee Gomez.
just as we move forward, if there's changes to the, maybe this is for the law firm's information, if there's information that is changed during a document, be aware that we get this document 48 hours prior to, so if there's any changes that have occurred in the meantime, if you could inform the board so that we have the most current version that we're reviewing, that would be very helpful, I think.
And I would say that in response to that, this is the most current version now because I just looked at it today and my email to them hasn't been responded to yet.
Okay.
So I don't have an updated version yet.
Okay,
I anticipate that I will in advance of the regular meeting.
okay.
Yes. And as another note, what my goal is to make sure if there's any changes between the work session and the actual official board meeting, that will be captured in an update that is sent to the board. And if there's any new documents, those will be ones they will be replaced on board docs. And then if it is that that trustee's request, they'll have that updated copy at the board meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Updated copy, like we get right now? You saying when we come in here with the stuff?
Yes,
we
on
don't pass?
Tuesday, if there's changes, you'll have if you get yours paper, you'll have an updated copy.
Any more questions from anybody?
No.
Alrighty. The next item is the ESS staffing agreement. I know that we have discussed this a number of times, but I would like Attorney Snow just to address the latest changes that may impact this agreement for the board.
ESS staffing, I had a conversation with their rep on, I'm in a little bit of a disadvantage here because I'm not looking at I don't have the agenda. So we had a conversation with their representative on Tuesday. And there are a couple of things. Initially, this was brought to my attention as an agreement that would be kind of a trial type of situation with them, and we were ideally wanting to do that over the period of the first semester. And the vendor, ESS, notified me as we talked about it during the meeting. I don't think for them, that's not a realistic time frame to evaluate what they do. They sent me an email back that's fairly thorough, that says their standard implementation timeline is 4 to 6 weeks just to kind of get their feet under them. And given that it's almost October now, they would be almost to the end of the semester by the time they get through that process. There's recruiting. They kind of have to build up a pool of staff in order to be able to have people available as needed. And there's a lot of things in here about kind of their operating system, their interface, all those things. It takes time to set all that up. So they say that you need 6 months to a full school year to see the impact of what they can do. So based on that, the proposed contract term at this point is through the end of June of 26, so basically through the end of this school year. There were also some questions about exclusivity in terms of can we have a contract with ESS and still be able to use what I would call our pool of substitutes. And so some of the language in the contract to me was not all that clear on that point. When I discussed it with them, they acknowledged to me that they want to be the exclusive contract vendor, meaning that they don't want us to hire them and then go hire another company to do the same thing that would compete with them, but they're okay with us kind of using the people that we already have. That kind of also, it also kind of feeds into the idea that they need a little bit of time to build up a pool of people because, they're not going to, what I tried to do with this is allow them that ability to say, yes, you're the only people we're going to contract with, but we don't necessarily want to hand over, so to speak, all of our staff, all of our pool of substitutes to you. Economically, that doesn't necessarily make sense because then we're using people that we've already had at a premium.
Right.
So what I've kind of proposed to them is, language that says, yes, you can be the only contract provider and we'll use you as we need you, but we're not, we have the option kind of as to how much we turn over, how much information we turn over about the existing substitute staff that we have. So I tried to kind of limit the amount that we're required to use them exclusively and that we'd be penalized for using people outside of their pool of staff. So we made a lot of revisions in that respect. And then I think those are the two biggest changes. We picked a little bit at the payment terms to try to make it a little bit more protective of our interests and make it a little bit easier to get out of the agreement if we need to on a 30-day notice or whatever the case may be. And then we, like we always do, maintained our option to renew this for periods of time, but took out the auto-renew clause. So like most of the other agreements, this isn't one that's going to automatically renew for term after term after term without the board being able to revisit it. And their comment to that was kind of, of course we would ask for that, but the worst you can do is tell us no, and that's kind of what we told them. So we did remove that language as well. And this was all communicated to them, I think yesterday afternoon or this morning. So I'm waiting on a response from them in terms of agreement to these terms as well.
So I guess we'll just hold off on that till we get everything that we need.
Yeah, I think they're pretty responsive. I would anticipate that I'll get an email from them back tomorrow, letting me know what they do and don't agree with in terms of my red lines. So I think, realistically, I think that, whatever they do and don't agree with is going to be the final version of the agreement. And then you all can look at that and decide whether the terms are acceptable or not. That'll be it. So I would anticipate being able to have that by tomorrow afternoon. I don't know. Obviously I can't control what they do, but they've been pretty responsive so far.
So in regards to what you said earlier about, because I guess my understanding with them was that they were going to take our pool on, so that all of those tasks will be funneled and navigated through them. It won't be a task for our HR or for our our district. So that was my understanding. And second, you said something about beneficial. It wouldn't benefit us to give them our pool. But if I'm understanding what they propose, general liability insurance, workers' comp insurance, and unemployment costs, that they bear that. We don't bear that.
Right, that's what they say.
That's correct. And so I think that, I think that from that perspective, that's, if that was the direction that the board was inclined to go with it, then they would accept that.
That
what
was
you just
that was
said.
my selling point. Yeah,
Right.
that was
And so I can definitely go back to them and say, we're fine with this. The concern was that if we want to, if we have people that we like and that we can trust and that we've used over a period of time that are reliable for us, if you turn that pool of people over to these folks, then you give them the ability to assign them. I don't know that they would have to be exclusively subject to assignment to East Chicago schools. If they have other schools in the area, I don't know that they wouldn't be able to move them around. And also, you're paying $140 a day for a sub, the same person that, a week ago cost you $100. So that's the trade-off, and I think that's a decision, the decision that that the board has to weigh, right?
Oh, yeah,
That's
I get it.
Yeah, that's in your purview. So I'm okay with either, and I think that the vendor would definitely be okay with doing it the way that you envisioned. I think that's what they would actually prefer.
Yeah, because I thought they take on like the payroll, the taxing, all
They-
of that. Like it takes all of that
They
from us.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, but but they charge us more than the sub would. So it's just a question of what's
Who's
it
gonna
worth to
do it?
Yeah.
Someone's
and-
still getting paid to do it, right?
Yeah, and what's it worth to you? It's
Because I think that was being done by her at the moment, not even by our own HR department.
Right, and I don't know why she was doing it. She had kids, because that's what I don't understand. It should have been HR as far as I'm concerned. Doing it.
That's what kind of
Yeah, that's what I understand.
found, that's what attracted me to this, this contract was those components, that it was gonna alleviate the burden from her, and then all the other liability insurances and payroll and taxes and all that good stuff, it's their burden, not ours.
Sure. No, I'm fine with, if that's the consensus of the board, and we're here in a public meeting, we're here to discuss these things. So if that's the consensus of the board, I can definitely revise that, and I will do that tonight and send it back to them and say, hey, we discussed this and here's some additional revisions. It would be a lot of reverting to the original language in the agreement. So I don't think they're gonna resist that. You know what I mean? When I talked to them, I kind of pushed back and said, well, I don't know that we want to, because economically, again, it means that we may lose some, it's hard to describe, because I don't want to say lose
No, I
some
get what you're
control over the
saying.
people we're used to. It's not control, but
I
you know
just
what I
didn't know
mean?
that
Like,
was an option. That's what I'm saying. Like, that was my understanding, was they were taking it all. I didn't realize that we had an option to keep our pool and then you go find another pool and.
Well, it makes it harder for them to do their job if we do it this way, I think. But, it's a cost factor, and unfortunately, for all of our clients, everything right now, because of the
Right.
way the state government has done things, for a lot of our clients, everything is a cost factor. So that's the only reason that conversation took place.
And they only get paid when we use them.
Yes, they want to, I think, like I said, they want to be the exclusive contract provider. So they want to be the only ones that we hire to do this for us. And I think the other thing is that, they want some things in place to make sure that they're not, like if we're going to use our own people and not theirs on a particular day, they want to be notified of that, so that they're not mistakenly paying their people for stuff that they think they're doing when actually they're not here. So there's some logistics and things to work out with that, but all of this circles back to the price point, and it's how, what are you willing to pay to have it be a little bit more convenient, have it be a little bit more clean, take some of the pressure off your staff, and, have them take on some of these liabilities. Because you're correct, as soon as they sign, there's like a 90-day period, and again, this is the reason why they say it can take a little while. For anybody that they bring on board, there's like a 90-day kind of probationary period for them, where they're making sure that they don't have anything in their background that disqualifies them, and making sure that they're kind of vetting them a little bit. But once they take them on as their people, then yes, they become employees essentially of ESS and not of the school. So yeah, the payroll, all the workers' comp liability, the assignments, who goes where, who does what, who goes to what building, all that gets
Right.
handled by ESS.
I mean, the way I looked at it, we were outsourcing that. That's how I interpreted this.
yeah.
This contract to be, outsourcing that component of HR.
So I guess, is that the next question would be, are you an outlier? Is that the inclination of the board? Because again, I'm
Oh, I'm not
fine either
speaking
way.
for the board.
Right, well, that's
Yeah.
that's the next step, right? We're all here, so.
Just, I guess this is another question I have with regards to, application, screening, onboarding. Now, they still have to go through the screening process with the school district. They cannot, in other words, since ours is more able to, as far as with the criminal background check and pretty much all that stuff, do we do it or do they do it? And if they do it, I'd like to see what type of process that they go through in order to bring these type of individuals to our school, to our district.
So I think the best way to answer this is what the original contract expectation was, which is, so assuming that the original contract called for us to provide a list of staff who we've used before and who we want to keep. So we get to kind of pick and choose among our pool of subs who we want to continue to work with, who we want to encourage them to use. And then it says, subject to the interview, training, background checks, and certification requirements included elsewhere in this agreement and the normal responsibilities, the company will accept those people. So ESS will accept those people for assignment. So they're going to do their own interview, background checks, training, all that kind of stuff, which is down further in the agreement. And then it says, as part of the transition process, the school basically certifies that these people meet the requirements to serve as substitute staff. So they have a background check. They mentioned TB test in here, those kinds of things that we would need to have people be able to, they're gonna basically use our representations for the first 90 days while they're doing their stuff. And then at the end of that, they figure out where they're gonna be retained permanently.
So I guess my question would be, would they give us a list of individuals that will be working in our school system for us to approve? Would this be some sort of board action so that we have an understanding of who's working in our schools? Or would this be sort of a contract where we just allow the third party to handle that? And I'm referring to more of the substitutes. I haven't got to the pairs yet, but the substitutes.
Are you saying how they're identified in the buildings?
Well, not just identified as buildings or where they're working, but say, for example, if they've gone through the process, the background check or whatnot, I believe the administration should have an understanding as to who's identified and who's working where, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And understand that background checks, you have to still review those background checks just to ensure that whoever's working in our district is who they say they are, and all T's are, and all crossed and all I's are dotted. That's all.
Absolutely.
And with regards to paraprofessionals, do we have a CBA with paras?
Yes.
Yeah, we do, and that's what I was gonna ask the question about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have a CB, yeah. Go
Because
ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
see with paraprofessionals, I see they have paraprofessionals down here. So how does that conflict with the paras that we have within the CBA?
Okay, so you mean in terms of their compensation?
Well, not just in terms of their
The
compensation,
contract
but
period.
how would that work if the CBA is with the school city of East Chicago? and
Well,
you're-
same for teachers. We have a CBA with teachers.
Right.
So there's,
Well, you got teachers, you have I guess in this case, I can see substitute teachers being,
Right.
okay, as we need them, right? But paras, wouldn't they be more of a full-time basis, or
So-
are they just filling in, or what's?
they
the
would just
status?
be filling in. So if one of the challenges we had last year, and keep in mind, we are hyper-focusing on the teachers. If a para was out, there was no sub for the para unless we found a sub, someone who wanted to do that. And then that impacted the operation of the classroom and the school. This allows, if we do decide to fill that position with the para, for that para to come, and now there's not a major disruption. So that means if that was a para that was a one-on-one aid for a student, that student still gets that service met in his IEP. So those there, but I think in terms of CBA, the para will still work the same hours. ESS will train the para or send us trained paras. So I think some of the other heavy lifting is off of ESS and allows us to have a smoother running classroom.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any more questions about the ESS?
Okay.
So my
So I guess
question
we
would
have-
be then, what do I go back to them with? Because
So apparently,
We got a
sounds
lot
like the
of,
board is
I-
we
fine.
got a lot
think-
of questions here.
I think
You
it
know?
sounds like the impression that we got was that they were going to just handle this.
Right.
And we're willing to pay the premium for that. So if that's the case, trustee trustee Rodriguez, sorry, what I will do is add a line in here saying that when they get their pool together, maybe they need to provide us with that list and they need to update it quarterly or something, so that at least we know who's in the pool. They already have an obligation. Their first obligation is to provide staff who have the right license and certification, have a completed criminal history and child abuse background check, the appropriate health screenings, and are providing services in accordance with the laws and procedures of the state. So they're gonna do that, and I think that there's some training and things like that that go along. They want to make sure that we're putting people in positions where they're not kind of free ranging around the building, and make sure that there's proper oversight and all that on our end. I think they seem to be pretty careful about it. So, and I think it's designed more to kind of take this all and take it off your hands, as opposed to trying to work simultaneously with you. So I'll go back through and kind of retract some of the things I sent them and get that off to them, and I think we'll still have something by tomorrow afternoon, probably.
Okay. If there's no other questions for ESS. Item 7.03 is the approval of professional development requests. Questions regarding professional development requests?
Oh, I want to ask, this is the new people that's going, right?
That is correct.
And I'm not mistaken, I think that last meeting that we had, I think the vote failed for some people to go. Did they go? Did they go? They was told that they went and the vote failed for them to go.
Yeah, so there was one person who attended because it was a zero cost to the district. There's an update regarding professional development and its impacts that I'll be sharing with you in my end of the week update.
You said it's what now, Dr. Bonet?
There'll be an update regarding professional development requests when they're denied in my end of the week update.
So, these ones that we have now, these is the new people,
Correct.
okay? I don't know, look at them. Yeah, but you said one person went. How many
Yes.
was on the last sheet?
You want the total number of
People.
employees that were requesting professional development?
Yeah, that when we had got when it was a failed vote. So I think I got the sheet.
It's in your packet.
You got one too, Diane, right here.
Yeah, yours was
Yeah, oh, no, I know.
In your envelope, trustee Gomez?
right here.
That's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. $11.
11 people, okay, and then one person went?
Yes, one person attended.
One went, attended. Okay, and that was, what's the date on that?
What was they on the personnel report?
Mm-hmm. That was-
September 9th.
Yeah, 9/9. Okay.
And I do apologize. I think the last regular session, we had some difficulties with my volume.
Yes.
And even though Tykia kept texting me, I don't think I can hear you.
So this sheet would be for school board meetings, the 23rd, right?
Correct.
Madam President, if it
Yes.
needs a board action
Yes.
to move this professional development process, I'll make sure to be here on Tuesday if you want to add it.
Oh, you was here, you just couldn't talk. Oh, what was wrong with
You
you?
just couldn't hear me.
Oh, that's what it
You
was?
couldn't,
We couldn't hear you.
I was on screen, but I wasn't on
Yeah.
audio.
Oh, well, we know something was wrong. Okay, so where we going to now?
Oh, there are questions for professional development?
Madam President,
Oh,
First reading.
no, he going, who got
Madam
questions?
President, you have one on the
Yes.
professional development, and it's for the Council of Great City Schools Conference, October 22nd through 26th in Philadelphia.
On the sheet, what you said, October what now?
It's in the document that I'm reading now,
For 22nd and 26th?
October 22nd through 26th.
Mm-hmm. How many days is this, the 26th? Dr. Bonet, how many days is this?
It's 3 school days.
3 school days.
Was there a question, trustee Gomez, or?
Yes, I'm waiting for everybody
Oh, I
to put
found
their eyes on the document.
Did you?
I'm sorry, is there a question on the floor?
Yes, it is. Waiting on trustee Gomez.
Oh,
Okay. So the board has established a threshold, basically, of professional development for itself, and I think we should do that for the superintendent as well, and some of the administrative staff. In particular, this is a whole week that he'll be gone, and if you go back through previous conferences, there's been a number of them where he's been out of district, and certainly while we have other people that he designates, I just think both the cost and the perspective, if we were an A school, I mean, if we were Crown Point or Munster, I might not have an issue, but I think we really need to have a presence in our district, and it seems like we're considering approval of a number of these conferences that take him out of the district, so.
And that should also go along with the board.
Right, because that's what
I
we
mean,
gonna do.
it's not fair for everybody else.
Right,
And
we've been talking
As
about it
a, as a
too.
matter of fact, are you finished?
I'm sorry, yeah, that's it,
Okay.
thank you.
As a matter of fact, let the record state that we had discussed, I don't know how, this is a work session, we had discussed that as a board, there were 3 conferences, ISBA, NSBA, and
And
CUBE.
CUBE.
And between the 3, we know we have to go to ISBA because we are a member, and we also NSBA. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think we chose to only two conferences, ISBA, which we have to go, and either CUBE or NSBA.
We can just pick and
So
choose.
if we put those type of mandatory restrictions on administration, it also goes toward the board. So, that's just a statement I just wanted to make, to let the community know that we're not exempt from anything that administration or teachers are for professional development.
Mm-hmm,
I agree.
yep, we talked about it, so yes.
Okay, next on the agenda.
So we'll just revisit this, how we're gonna deal with this.
Well, we're gonna have, didn't we do a policy that says 3 months in
Yeah, didn't you
advance?
say something, yeah?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
yeah, we can just pull that item from the docket, it's just listed generically.
Yeah, okay.
Well, how long we have before this has to be approved? Because I don't
delete
want,
the
I don't want anything like we had with Dr. Yanders, and she was the speaker, and we held that out for God knows 3 weeks. So this next conference is coming up, well, went to that one, November, correct? So if that's what you want to do, but it is time to just stop tabling stuff, get this done, and move on to the next situation. Either we're gonna let them go or we're not. That's just my opinion. As long as they're done, they are submitted within that 3-month period.
I mean, not only that, you could also see the funding source that is coming from, so, I mean, it'll be disappointing to not pass the entire professional development report over one item or one, you know,
And, Madam
one
President-
conference, if you will.
Madam President, the board has the right to just pull
Yes,
individual
yeah.
items off. Is that correct, Attorney Snow?
I don't think
We're
so.
looking at,
The individual items
I
off
think,
the
I think
people
it
that
has to have a
already
board,
attended.
I think that would be a board action to pull an item. It has to have at least a majority of the board, or it has to be a board action. In this case, one individual board member cannot pull an item off.
I'm clear with that, and that's, I'm asking Attorney Snow for his opinion.
Snow?
Well, I think that's correct. I mean, so you're talking about kind of interlineating I think
The question was.
we've been through this a few times, like in different contexts, right? So you have a full report and you're talking about removing one item from it.
Correct.
In order to be able to to vote in favor of the rest of the report, right?
Right.
So I think that this being a work session, I mean, we're not taking a vote on anything
Can't vote,
today.
yeah.
So definitely, I think we can make recommendations that we not cover this at the regular meeting. If we were in the regular meeting, then I think there would have to be a motion to, and I'm not going to be able to pull the word off the top of my head, but I think in the past, we've done a motion to remove, to modify the report, to remove a certain item and then pass the modified report. There's a procedure for that, but I don't think we're there yet tonight. I think that certainly, again, making the recommendations is one thing. What we do between now and the future, as far as what gets put on the agenda, I think is a matter for the board president to decide, and then we go from there.
So let me ask you this question. Since we got that policy about it being approved, 3 months, or being presented 3 months prior, if it gets taken down now, or we make, take board action to take it down, is the clock already ticking, or does the clock start all over again when it comes back? Because now we're probably looking, and I don't know, I can't remember the last professional development report or the one previous. Are we looking at any here that was presented before that we did not pass and now it came back? And, because we're looking at dates, but if we keep tabling stuff, I mean, the clock, the time still goes on.
This was my question, because I was wondering, these are not the same people that failed last week, the last school board.
No, right, I didn't,
So they're not, so these are some new people now.
but you got one on here that there's no cost, you have another one on here that comes from Title II, so I would hate to compromise any others that need to move forward.
Can I, because I do the PD reports, so, and I had asked Dr. Barnett if this question had came up, if I can explain it. So how the PD report is put together is, because this is a request of the board, this is something new, that, because this was a request of the board, this is something that just started, because, so, what failed the last time, so what you're looking at this time, what you have in front of you is what's going to be on the
23rd.
report for Tuesday, the 23rd, for the board meeting. What failed last week, or for the September the 9th, it's not, I don't know if it's on the agenda or if it's going to be put back on there. So I don't know what happened to that one. Dr. Burnett have to explain that.
So,
But what you're looking at now is what's new. So
Right.
that's why you don't have the new.
Right.
So this is what's new. So, and in the past, since I've been here for 4 years, we never put the superintendent's conferences on the PD reports. This just started. So Dr. Bornay asked that we put his conference on the PD report so that the board is aware of where he's going. Now, per our CFO, we never had to let the board know where the superintendent was going. This is something new. So because of all of the changes and everything, he wanted to let the board know where he was going, and he wanted all of his literature to be included and everything. So that's why everything is
Well,
in
thank you.
place.
Thank you for explaining that. So that's the question I was asking, like the one that failed 2 weeks ago, is that clock already ticking for that report?
That clock is done ticked,
It's done ticked.
done ticked.
Tick, tick,
Yeah,
boom.
because it's
Done-
like
done
They
tick.
can't come back for 30 days.
So-
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so this is the issue with the person, with that professional development report. So I'm hearing that y'all want to remove stuff off of it, okay? So y'all gotta look at, if y'all remove stuff off and then we're coming back to visit this 2 weeks later, now you have increased the airplane ticket, you have increased the hotel stay, and you have increased fees for actual, conference. So we have to look at that also. That's the reason why that y'all did the policy where we presented early enough that we don't take the increase. Second off, if we just throw up professional out and anything that says Title II, this is the problem that we ran into before, is that the board eliminated professional development of our teachers, our principals, and every, going out saying that this is when we used to do it. So now you got Title II sitting here with all this money, and at this point, it gets to the end that we can't do no modifications. So again, now all this money is going back to the state. And that is exactly what we've been running in before when we were doing this board approval for our professional development. One reason why it was just taken off of the agenda and it wasn't being approved by the board because we were losing money. So either we're gonna lose it or we're gonna increase it. So we have to have something in place that is a deadline. This either is going or not going. Because if the one that you pulled off last week, they can't sign up for it. Because at that point, my hotel is gonna go up and my traveling fees are gonna go up. So that's done. Some of that stuff that got failed last week, they were required to go to. Some of the principals are required to go to this stuff. Some of them are required because they're in these leadership programs. They're in these programs that Dr. Bernay put in. They're in these programs that previous superintendents put in. It's over 2 years. So those fail, you pull those, now we're harming our principles of getting leadership. So I understand that when we did the 90-day, we did the 90-day for the professional development so y'all can review it. I didn't know it was going to affect that we're going to start pulling these people off. And then we're going to come to the point of, we're going to send this money back to Title II. So it's something to factor, or if we're not going to send them back to Title II, we're going to pay when it's finally approved and they can say they can go. Now I'm paying higher rates for everything that they're doing.
I'll say this, that I think, and I understand that point of view, there's another perspective here. I'm addressing one conference here. That's all I'm talking about. And again, it's about the dollar amount that the board set for itself for professional development. I'm suggesting that the same number apply or be considered for others. One can make another argument that you can't let one principal go to 15 conferences.
Correct.
And that's my point. You
Yes.
seem to be allowing the superintendent to
No,
be
that's-
leaving the
that's-
district.
now-
That's all I'm talking about is one.
That's in his contract.
I
So that's the
understand, but it
reason
doesn't say we need
why-
to let them go 365 days out of
That's
the
the
year.
reason why I asked Tykia and Dr. Bernay to address this is because that's in his contract. I can't deny it. I approve all the rest of those professional developments that's on there. They come to me. I am the final approval of them. But when it comes down to the superintendent, that is not mine because that's listed in his contract. I can't touch that.
I understand that. The board has a right, though, to deny conferences. And given our financial situation that we're facing right now, I don't think it's a wise decision, plus our academic situation. So when you combine both of those, that's my point here, that I don't think we can just give carte blanche to someone to leave the district, particularly the leader of the district. That's from a board perspective, this board member's perspective. I understand that.
And I can't make the call that when you make reservations 3 days before the conference and all of that. So it fits into the same scenario. If he has to make a report, then we have to make a report. If you don't attend and anybody doesn't attend the conference, when that registration is paid and when the airfare is paid, or you wait till 2 days before, and I pay $179 for my ticket and your ticket costs $799, make it make sense to me. So if he has to do it, then we have to do it. We have to be accountable all of it. We can't just all just say it's just him. We have to be accountable. We have to show the community that we are as one when it comes to finances. What the old people say, what's good for the gander is good for the goose, or what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't know, but anyway, all I'm trying to say is we're not gonna keep going back and forth with this. If he agreed to do it and said he wants his professional development, which is in his contract, which you all
What does
made up.
does the contract speaks to this?
It beats.
And,
We don't have time for all that tonight.
No, we don't. But what I want to ask Mr. Snow a question.
We don't
You
have
said-
for all, I got
You said, go ahead, you said something about the,
I ain't got time for all
you
that.
said something
Because
about,
this is stuff that should have been discussed prior
the
to.
president has what now? To do what? The president could do what now, you said?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, typically, the president and the superintendent are the two that have set the agenda historically. So what I was saying is, between now and then, whatever items are on the agenda for your regular meeting next week is what you decide is going to be on the agenda. So then, whatever's on the agenda when we get here on Tuesday,
Right.
you can make motions on the floor at that point to try to modify things and remove certain things. I've seen this board do that in the past. So historically, there is a precedent for that. That's just a procedural mechanism that allows you to do something, though that's not a comment on whether or not it's advisable. I can't obviously comment on that.
Okay, so the policy, what does this policy say then?
The policy on,
Because isn't there a policy about this?
for professional development for staff,
Yes.
it is something that we did not too long ago, and I was
did this.
I was looking for it while you were talking, and I got lost a little bit in everything, but I gotta be able to find it. It doesn't
Okay.
come up, like if you search professional development, it doesn't
Okay.
come up. So let me look around a little bit.
All right, then, well, we could, you want to move on then and come back to that? We can do that. So next thing is what on the agenda?
Policies for
For
first
the
reading.
first reading? Okay, let's go to that.
Did you want me to go through those, or do you?
Oh, you can go.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to do that too, don't you, Snow?
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Let me find what I sent out. I just sent it to Takia, so, okay. So the first one that's going to be on there, I think, is 5410, if we're going in numerical order. This is the district's policy on promotion, placement, and retention. So what criteria do students have to meet in order to advance to the next grade? and you can see just what's highlighted in green. Again, our old policy was dated. It did not take into account the stuff we were talking about earlier about the third graders needing to pass the IREAD in order to move forward. So we just added a reference saying students will be promoted when they've met A, B, and C, and D. And then in addition to that, the third graders have to pass the IREAD or they have to have one of the statutory exceptions in order to be promoted to the fourth grade. And so that's the only change to that. It's just bringing that policy into compliance with the statute. So I guess going in order, are there any questions about that one?
So let me see.
I'll go out of order a little bit because this one's gonna be simpler. 9120 is just, it's a policy that governs the public information program. And it basically says that the school needs to have some kind of program that keeps the general public informed of what the school is doing with the achievements and needs of the school. So basically a public relations department or I asked if there was a PR person, and Dr. Bournet, there's a long title for that person's name. I can't remember it.
Communications and Public Relations.
That's it. Okay. So maybe it wasn't as long as I thought then, but in any event, the old policy assigned the responsibility for that to the assistant superintendent, and that's no longer the case. So we just changed it to say the superintendent or their designee. So that can be this communications and public relations person. It's just, again, changing the wording of the policy to reflect the actual practice here. Any questions on that one? All right, then the third one has the purchasing policy, that's 6320.
The third one, let me see, it's 6320.
Yes.
I don't have no third one.
There you go.
Let me see. Huh?
6320, there you go.
Oh, yeah, here it is. 6320? Yes. I got
Yep,
it right here.
so 6320 is our purchasing policy. This is largely kind of keyed to the state procurement statutes. The suggestion of the committee is that we decrease the amount of open market purchases that can be made without soliciting bids or quotes. So currently, your policy says that your purchasing agent is able to make purchases without soliciting quotes if they total, for supplies, if they total no more than $50,000. We've reduced that, or proposed reducing that to $25,000. What that does is it requires the purchasing agent to solicit competitive bids and quotes on more occasions. And it kind of, I guess, eliminates the ability to act independently without at least seeking competition out. There is language in here that suggests that, if there's limited sources of a product or, some of the other exemptions that are listed in the procurement laws apply, then there's kind of different rules for that, and that reflects what's in the statutes. Same thing would then apply to contracts for services. Again, any contract for purchases of services that would exceed more than $25,000 for the contract over the course of the year would have to there would have to be like an RFP or a solicitation of quotes. That one's a little bit different. I think that's more, the service end is more at the board's discretion. The state statutes, when you're looking at purchasing supplies, they're very rigid. So below 50,000 is this, from 50 to 150, you have to solicit 3 quotes. Over 150, you gotta do competitive bidding. That's pretty much to where the lines are drawn for supplies. For services, the state procurement statutes basically say you can procure a service as you see fit, but you should encourage competition, which is why a lot of times for service contracts, people do an RFP. Because with a request for proposals, you can seek more detailed information from the proposers. You can kind of set them off against one another and kind of negotiate between the ones that respond. And it generally allows you to get a little bit more information about who they are and what they do than just a bid would do. So that's I think the procurement method that a lot of agencies go with. But the statutes really don't offer a lot of guidance. So if you're saying we want to do an RFP for every service contract that looks like it's going to be more than $25,000 for the year, that's really kind of the board's discretion as to where they want to set that number. And the suggestion of the committee is to reduce that amount from 50 to 25, 50,000 to 25,000. So those are the changes that are reflected in this policy.
Can I speak on that, please? So this is State Board of Accounts recommendation. This was not Leela's accounts of recommendation. This is State Board of Accounts recommendation. Anything that you're going to bring down to $25,000 is going to bring down a very slow pace of getting anything fixed in the district. That means that now I have to go out to bid, which bids have to be posted for 30 days. And for a teacher to come and tell me something is wrong with that HVAC unit because my bid was over $25,000, now I gotta go out for 3 bids. So I'm not for sure where this is going, because when that policy was written, it was written through State Board of Accounts. It was not written through Leela. It's in our audit, and that's all I can say. So as your $25,000 for federal, so are you gonna change the federal also? Because federal is different than your state. So again, I have no problem with going out for bid. It does not, but I do not want to be standing here in this room when I have a bunch of teachers in here telling me, well, why didn't you get just a simple HVAC part fixed? Or why didn't you get the door fixed when I have to go out for bid? Because I have no problem with it. But it's going to come back on me because of what is being done in the district. And there is no cheap prices anymore at all. So there is a particular clause in the federal, if you use a contractor more than $50,000, you have to solicit another bid. That is for my food service nutrition. So I have no problem with that, but we are hindering the state, this district on getting things fixed. Because as y'all know, my HVAC system alone, there is one invoice for $25,000 for Central High School. Now, if I would have had to go out for bid for that, you would have had every teacher in here discussing why they're hot over there. Now, I have no problem with it. Like I said, I will send it out for bid, and it'll be posted for 30 days.
I do have one, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, trustee Rodriguez.
I do have a question with regards to the difference between bids and quotes. I think that's where it seems to be more of a longer, lengthier timeline when you say bids, because yeah, they do have to fall within the guidelines of State Board of Accounts. But when we asking for quotes, is that more of a just finding 2 to 3 that fits that specification or criteria and and just using those as the lowest and most responsive and just going that route?
So even going
I know
out
the
for,
word bid is, to me, it's a lengthier, you gotta get specifications, you gotta get all kinds of different things just to even put the bid together. But I think quotes may be a better word when it comes to anywhere between that 50 to 150 or 25 to 50. I think what they're asking for here is to reduce it down to 25, right?
right, so that's a lot.
Yeah, so, and I think for
But there's
bids
no
for that,
problem, so I can go out for 3 quotes, since you don't want to use the word bid. Again, I'm still relying on the vendor to come out and give me the quote. It's still a time-consuming thing. But I will most definitely, if we're going down to 25,000, I will most definitely go out for quotes and bids.
Do you recall the last time this policy was updated?
Yes, I just updated this policy in April, I do believe. Due
year or last
of
year?
this year. Yes, it was updated this year,
Yeah,
due to
April
state board.
24. Actually, it was last year, I remember.
Due to the
April
point.
17th.
Yeah, it was due to the point of State Board of Accounts needed me to update it because we got hit on that one. It's in our audit. Because at the time, our policy personally said it was $1,000. Everybody else policy around us was at 50,000.
Trustee, Madam President.
Yes, go ahead, trustee
Trustee
Smith.
Rodriguez, you remember when we was in you remember when we were in the
State Board of
audit
Account-
and the Fed said it had to go to 50,000. I think what the discretion is, the problem is not for the bids as far as operations in the buildings or whatever, or machinery or things like that. I think what we're trying to differentiate what can we approve as far as, like, say, materials, like for the school.
HVAC and all that stuff.
Not HVAC, that's operations,
we
that's,
talking
you
about-
have to have 3 bids on that.
I'm saying, but go ahead. You finish
Yeah,
your thought.
but I'm
I'll
just
tell
saying,
you
say for instance, if you wanted to buy jackets, I'm
Yeah,
just want
we
to
talking
say,
about that.
just say if you wanted to buy jackets, and that's what I'm thinking. If you wanted to buy jackets for the whole school, the district, and it's 15,000, don't you think that the board should approve that?
Yeah, if something that we may need to have that's detrimental, I think that we could have that language in after that. Anything else as far as things that is essentials and all that kind of stuff, that's unnecessary.
The $50,000 you have to
Just
have.
keep
Can
them,
I speak on that a little
Yes,
bit?
go ahead.
Sorry, just because I can see where the conversation is gonna go on this.
Yes.
The thing that you have to keep in mind with this is that it's very hard to draw those lines between what is considered essential and subject to board approval and what is not. And even the 5 of you may have differing opinions on that subject. So to try to write a policy that, I think that doing it this way establishes a standard across the board procedure, and it kind of requires everybody to take a look at what's being done. So if there's more than $25,000 being spent, you have to have the quotes, there has to be a process, it's a little bit more exposed. That increases the level of oversight you have, because at least you're a little bit more aware of what's going on and you're not just seeing it on the claims list. But I think you're correct in what you're getting at, is that this policy is different than trying to do something to give the board ability to pre-approve expenses that we just don't think are necessary.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think what Leela's bringing up is a valid point, that the school has to have some discretion to be able to just do things. And you're not the only board that I'm working with at the moment that struggles with this. I think everyone does, because every board, the level of control you want, the level of trust you have between the board and the administration, all those kinds of things factor into that. But I think that you would find that if we were to ask all 5 of you what you think, where you think that line should be between what's essential that the school can just go do versus what's not essential that they need to come to you first about, I think you'd all put that line in a different place. And so it makes it really hard to put that into a policy. So just to the extent that the conversation was headed in that direction, I mean, that's kind of what you're gonna run up against.
so what's your recommendation?
I mean, it's hard to, legally speaking, you can do what the revisions are that we're trying to do without getting in trouble, right? Because if the statute establishes that under 50,000, you don't have to solicit quotes. 50 to 150, you do have to solicit quotes. And then you decide that from 25 to 50, we're also gonna solicit quotes, that's gonna be okay under the statute, because the statutes, just generally procurement statutes, say you should encourage competition, you should encourage transparency, you should solicit quotes, you should do these things. So you're not, legally, you're not gonna create an issue for yourself by lowering this. I think the question to ask is, kind of like what we were just discussing with the ESS contract, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? I mean, are you going to be able to accomplish the oversight purposes you want by doing your policy this way? And is that going to be worth it in light of the extra headache that it might cause for your procurement department?
So
I
let me
mean, that's,
give it, can I give-
and those are things that, like, this is where, I don't know, there may be even differences between Jewel and I, because I feel like if I weigh in more than that, then I'm making myself a sixth board member, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know I've never sat in on a meeting where Jewel discusses this. I feel like we kind of approach our jobs a little differently sometimes, and that's not a knock against, either of us, but I think that's a value judgment that you have to make.
Yeah, and what I see is two things. Number one, we do approve all claims, and we do see all claims that come before the board, regardless of whatever dollar amount that is. And we do have invoices and whatnot of what they've done in order to get to that place. The question is when it comes to bidding, there is a process, and is whether we have the staff to actually do that process each and every time that's anything that's over 25, anything that's from 25,000 and above. So we have to be mindful of that. We're adding more work to the administration, which I don't have a problem with. If this board feels that's the route they want to go. My job is just to focus on what matters most, and that's keep making sure that this district flourishes with the amount of staff that we currently have.
I think too, the one last thing I would throw in, and it's been a little while since I read the procurement code, so I can look this up while I'm sitting here probably, but I feel like there's also built-in time frames. When you solicit quotes, I want to say you can solicit them like by email or by fax, but you have to give them, for something that's sticking in my head, that you got to give them like 7 days to respond. So if you solicited 3 quotes and someone doesn't get back to you right away, there might be a waiting period there. Yeah, isn't that, you work with it more than I do, but I feel like I know, I've dealt with that before.
If you solicit quotes, there is a 2-week period.
Okay.
If one of them do not get back with you, you use that email as saying, well, they didn't return anything to me, so I move forward with whatever. If I have 1 quote, I move forward with that. If I have 2 quotes, I move forward with that. That is the statute on that one.
But you have to give them a certain amount of time to
Yes,
respond,
you do.
right? So
You do have to give them a certain amount of time to
Yeah.
respond. So I can't ask them to give me a quote in 24 hours.
Right.
So that is the issue that I'm having with the policy because of the HVAC systems. I don't have 24 hours. I have an issue that I got to get done right away. And as y'all know, HVAC is expensive. It's just downright expensive. It's not, no problem with that. So as far as the docket is concerned, there is 2 parts of that docket, and I explained this many times before. Trustee Taylor, you wasn't on the board at that time. There's the pre-run docket, and there is the regular run. Regular run docket, I have those checks. You can pull those checks. If you decide, if you look at that docket and say, hey, we don't want to pay them, we can pull that check. The pre-run, that check is already gone. So any pre-runs, I be very specific on what I pay in pre-runs. Most of it is employment issues that we got to pay, the taxes, the feds and all that. So that is basically what is done in that docket. So yeah, y'all have to write anything in that regular run to pull if y'all decide y'all don't want to pay it.
I have a question. So did you bring up this policy to policy committee, or how was this brought up to the policy committee?
I have
for
no
them to
clue.
make that determination of reducing it to 25,000?
I was going to ask policy chair if he could share because it just came up in the meeting. I didn't even know it was coming.
Trustee
This
Rodriguez,
was not the
I'm not for sure.
recommendation of the superintendent.
Say what now?
I said this was not the recommendation of the superintendent. According to the board policy, the superintendent makes recommendations to the policy committee for changes and revision of the policy. My statement is that this wasn't my recommendation.
So how did it come about?
I was going to ask policy chair if he could share
Yeah.
because that was I guess that was my concern. We just updated this policy and how did it come back on the policy table for revision? So if policy chair could share?
No, I won't let him take that fall.
I know.
I asked for that policy to be re-looked at, not because I knew about the $50,000. I was thinking, and that's my mistake, I'm thinking that the policy, I know we're supposed to have the 3 quotes. I was a part of that particular audit with the State Board of Account. My thing was, like he said, it's a thin line between what we can approve and what we can't approve. I understand 50,000, a furnace piece could cost 50,000, and we don't need board approval because it's already on the pre-run. You understand what I'm saying? I was talking about basically what we can approve as far as like T-shirts or shirts or, I don't know, just general school things that might be, I'm gonna put it like this. Years ago, and the older board members can attest to this, they were ordering, teachers and was ordering $15,000 and $20, $10,000 and $15,000 worth of school supplies prior to school. Nobody said anything till the CFO started looking at her invoices and like, they didn't even use half the stuff. Half the stuff some other schools needed. So that was my way of trying to not have control, but have some type of transparency on what the schools are spending for their particular merchandise. You see what I'm saying? Lily, you know what I'm talking about.
I have, actually,
Trustee Smith for being honest.
I'm sorry.
yes, I have, if we're referring to anything being purchased in the school, that is being purchased out of their ECAs. I am not gonna say I don't have control, but they purchased that out of their ECAs. They raised that money to purchase and to use it how they want to in the schools. Only thing I have control over here is if I am doing something for the schools. So particularly, I buy all the books for the schools. And when the invoice comes through, again, they went out for bid for this, and then the invoice comes through. So if you see something on there for Reason Horizon, which they went out for bid for 2 years ago, but it's a 3-year contract, it's gonna be $132,000.
Okay.
So then y'all requiring me to go back out for bid for something that's gonna cost that much, and we know it. It changes. They might not need that many books, so they might drop down to $60,000. Again, it's already out for bid. All of the invoices that's being paid through that docket, I sign off on. All the invoices that's being paid through that docket, I have knowledge of before we pay them.
So, just hypothetical, I'm just asking this question. So, if we wanted to purchase jackets for the whole school,
That came from,
the ECA,
no.
no, what?
If we're purchasing it from this office,
Yes. 'cause
it has to
been
be
done before.
someone over to purchase them. If it's going purchasing from the school, that is the principal's call.
Right, I know that part, but if it's for the district, I'm just saying.
For the district, it would have been someone here in the administration building that would have approved it.
And that has happened before.
It's someone here in the administration building approved it.
It has happened.
And I think
And
that's
that
what
one
brought my
time, it has
attention to
happened,
that.
it has happened several times.
No, I only purchased
Just
jackets.
that one time, I
Jackets that
remember.
one time.
And that was my only thing, because we never did even see the amount of how much the jackets cost.
I relayed
I
that
got them out.
invoices
I got
to the board several times on what it was, what we paid for.
We had two bills.
I'm sorry?
We had 2 bills, if
Correct.
I'm not mistaken. It was like $8,000. Each bill was $8,000.
Correct.
Is what we had.
Yep.
And so those are the things that we're speaking about. I think that we can all agree if we need to get something for, to help out in the building, we know we can use the money for that. But essentials, we all can say we don't want it for that. I'd like to think, a speaker, T-shirts, book bags, none of that stuff. I think we can agree on that.
I don't know about what y'all,
Say it
because
like
that's up under y'all budget, so,
Just saying. Right.
yeah. So the board budget is the board budget.
Right.
Yes. I think the procurement, there is another procurement also, if I'm right. Am I right, Snow? Attorney Snow? there is another, policy.
Gonna ask,
For
maybe
purchase.
just better suited another policy and
Yeah,
not
there
this
is
one.
another policy for purchasing. There's several, I think there's like 2 or 3 policies under purchasing.
Yeah, PO 6325, procurement of federal grants and
Federal.
funds.
Wait, what'd you
Yes.
say, Joel? What's the policy number?
PO 6325.
6325.
And there is,
You
we
say
even
this
have
is
a.
federal?
That's federal grants and funds. And then we
Okay.
also have 6320-01.
Wait,
which-
6320 dash what?
01,
Okay.
and that's for purchasing using online items, or like Amazon and whatnot.
Purchasing.
Okay. So I'm just gonna take that blame for that. But I do understand because I was a part of that audit. So, like you said, it's 3 different purchasing policies. So.
And then it's
before-
also a way you can word it. If you're more worried about bids or more worried about quotes, that's 2 different things, like Trustee Rodriguez said.
Right.
Bids is something that I have to post, and they have to be posted.
I'm not, that part I'm not
Yeah.
concerned about. I know what you have to do.
Yeah.
My thing was, I just didn't want us to spend, I wanted to make sure that we were always transparent within this district as far as purchasing merchandise or speakers or whatever. That's all. I'm just trying to be transparent. That's it.
Okay, yeah. Quotes, that's a different thing. So, most of the time, like I said, any invoice that comes through, I have my hands on it. And I know if they went out for it. And we try to have POs for everything now.
I got a purchase order for 20,000. Do you have to get a purchase order for 20,000? Do you have to get a bid or a purchase order for 20,000, or what do I have to do
I
for
have
that?
purchase orders for $100.
So I have to get a bid out if I wanted to get 20,000?
No, this is something, I get the quote. I have to approve the quote to go in the system to create a PO to go out to the vendor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get quotes here in the district, and I have to approve them to be put in as a PO to go out to the vendor.
Okay.
Yes,
For anything?
for anything, anything.
Thank you.
That is in one of those policies also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will look up those policies.
63.
Okay.
They're up under the finance section, so if you want to pull them and we have a finance meeting, you and Trustee Smith and Trustee Rodriguez, we can go through them then also.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, Jesse.
No.
Okay, got it.
There's also a policy on extracurricular funds, right?
Yes,
Which
there
might
is.
be something that we look
I did
at
see-
too, as
yeah, I
to
did see
the
that.
way that those are managed, and maybe that's a more effective way of doing that.
So like again, those are managed through the schools. But you also doing extracurricular is fundraisers. That's not something that I fund. They actually go out for fundraisers to put that money in those accounts.
Okay.
I think you remember, Madam President, when.
Yes.
In our policy, in our finance meetings, we had the list of all those extracurricular
Yes, we sure
activities, and I
did.
would say probably.
Yes.
Maybe
They have
50%
been just sitting there. Yes.
was used and the other 50% wasn't, so.
Right.
Just
So,
don't
yeah.
even touch it.
Okay, so what are we gonna do with this policy that we're speaking about here? We're gonna just,
Madam President, I brought
Yes.
this up as Trustee Smith mentioned, under recommendation of my colleagues, so, whatever the will of the board is, I'm just doing my job and putting it on the agenda as I was asked to. I will say, though, there was a comment made, though, about pre-runs. At the end of the day, though, we're responsible for paying vendors for their jobs or supplies that we've received, so I think that's not fully getting all the way there. At the end of the day, if we did have this policy and it was at 25,000, and the bid or quote came in at 26, at least we would have some idea and perhaps even get a better deal if there were bids available to us. So there's the other side of that argument. And again, the pre-runs only mean that the job has already been done and we're gonna have to pay for it anyway. Or the purchase has been made, so.
as it stand, I think maybe we should just rethink this particular policy. I
We-
just
we
think
can
we
pull
should rethink that policy again, and then go through the other policies, that trustee, Rodriguez,
Trustee Gomez. is
Gomez,
saying-
no, trustee
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, pointed out the 3 other different policies that in purchasing.
Attorney Snow, do you know the policy that speaks to the extracurricular ones? 'Cause I think,
Yes, I just saw it. It's 6610.
What policy is that now?
6610.
You can just make a note, we'll add that to our next policy committee meeting.
Okay.
That's what you said, Jesse? You gonna do what now?
We'll just add that to our next policy committee meeting.
The 6610?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions regarding policies? Those are the 3 we're doing?
Yeah, that's all I got, is 3.
Okay,
Those are the only 3.
all righty. Next is personnel report. I think work sessions go longer when we actually have 15 items. Only have 4 and you're still here for 3 hours.
I know. Let's see, anybody got any questions, personnel report here?
Oh, this is the updated one, right?
Yep, that's the new one here.
Madam President,
Yes, trustee Gomez.
item 5 is on page 2.
Item
And,
5.
yeah, it's at the bottom of the page. The job ISS-RR teacher.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we got pages.
Page 2.
Okay.
Number 5.
Page 5. Page 5?
Yeah, this is under the revised 918.
Well, mine say resignation.
This is the one that was in the board
You
packet.
said 2?
I
No,
pulled
not
it out of
page
this.
5, line item, number 5.
I'll pull it out of this one.
No, I got it
No,
out
no,
of there. Here it
number
is.
5.
Yeah, item
I think
5.
you went to page
I
5.
thought he said page 5.
Oh, sorry, no, page 2.
Yeah.
Number 5, ISS-RR teacher. More information on that?
Let's see, let me get to this one.
What was the question?
What is the position?
So we have a certified teacher in the ISS in order for our students not to lose instructional time, as opposed to the previous model. This model was adapted last year at recommendations from our administrators who attended a conference regarding how do you maximize student learning time. So our old model of in-school suspension was a person sitting in the room who may have been classified and students not being able to account for their time as instructionally. Because we have a teacher in that space, therefore, all of that student's time spent is counted.
So what's the name of the title you said? What is it, ISS, what is it? What,
And in-school solutions.
but in school? Okay,
So are they actually delivering instruction?
That is correct.
So for whatever subject?
That is correct. Meaning they will be able to assist and support students in addition to delivering instruction.
And then it says certified EP,
That is correct.
the EP stands for?
Emergency permit.
And do we know how long the permit?
Say it again.
Do you know the length of the permit?
All EPs are a year.
So is this a current permit?
I believe so. Our Human Resources office was available to answer questions for personnel report, but I believe due to the lateness of time, that Mr. Guardiola had to leave.
But they could provide that to us tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Well, no, not tomorrow, at the meeting, right?
We'll get it for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna give it to him, okay. Okay. Did you have some more questions?
No.
Okay, I want to ask about these two positions, number 4 and 5. Were they posted?
Yes, our positions are posted.
I know okay, they were posted.
You'll see there's a column called Job Posted and a date where they were posted.
Okay, where's that column at? Because I don't see anything here.
It is next to the comment column, effective date, and then you see
There's
Job
nothing,
Posted.
there's nothing there on my sheet. I have anything there right here. You tell me right here,
Yes.
the comment section?
That one right here.
Yeah, I don't see anything here.
It's not in the comment section. It's the third column from your right.
Yes, it
Says
says
job posted.
7/16/2025.
Did you say, wasn't that Mercedes?
7/16/2025.
The 6/18.
It would be on the right side of the
Oh,
job
down here.
column.
Okay,
7/6
okay, I
back
got
right
you.
here.
Yes, okay, I got it. So this one is posted in 4/28? Yes. Okay. Okay. Then where's Leila? She gone? Oh. Okay. So I want to ask about this nurse. Is this the salary for the whole year? For the school nurse at Washington Schools?
Yes, it's due
For the whole year?
yeah, because of her classification. She's not, I do believe she's not a RN, she is a CNA, if I read that right.
Okay, I don't see it on here saying what she is. I just say school nurse.
She's a CNA.
Oh, right here, I
Yeah.
see her. Oh,
Yeah.
there she is. Okay, I got you. Okay, I see it.
We are including under the type column the type of certification that the nurse has for the board's information.
Say what now?
I said we do include that information on the personnel report
Yeah.
with the goal of not having to ask questions that we could find out when we read the document.
Well, keep in mind, I just got this today, okay? Keep that in mind, because I didn't have this before.
Okay. The packets are made available on Tuesday.
No, I just got this right now today. This was here, right? And you gave this, didn't you get this to me today, Takia? Thank you, and it was revised, right? Thank you.
I understand when you got it. I'm just saying the packets are available on Tuesday.
Are there any more questions that we have as far as the personnel report is concerned?
Yeah, Madam
Yes, go
President,
ahead,
just,
Trustee
number
Rodriguez.
6 on page 3.
Page 3?
Yeah. Just see this position was declined. That person is also EP.
You say
Repeat your
what
question,
did you
Trustee
say, Trustee Rodriguez? Gomez?
Yeah, it was, it's also a certified EP individual.
Oh, yeah.
I see that this position was declined. Do you know if this was a salary issue or?
Let's see. I don't recall.
Which position is
It
it?
says in the description that he was offered another job at another district.
It was a salary.
That's why I'm
was a
asking the
salary?
question.
That's what you said later, the salary?
It was a salary.
Okay.
So I guess that brings up the reason why I'm asking the question is that, there is a concern, and so it looks like the individual on number 5 is getting paid $45,500, and this individual would, I'm assuming, get paid the same. Maybe it's a time to, revisit the pay for some of these individuals. 45.5 may not be enough for, maybe enough for number 5, but maybe not for number 6. And as we're,
It's a state law. We can't control how
I-
much we pay.
I understand that, but if there's also, I'm assuming, I know this individual was looking at doing some extracurricular activities for us.
So
Go ahead.
on one particular thing. I do believe the one that declined, he has more credentials.
Right.
And with them having more credentials, the 45.5 is only for EP.
Right.
So our starting salary is, I do believe, 50,000 if you have license. And then we can max out at 60,000. Anything over 60,000, I have to get the union and the superintendent's approval to give out as far as a teacher.
Right.
So we are within state limits. Actually, I think we over a little bit more than what state was originally telling us that we would have to be. So the original thing before Senate Bill 1 was that we had to be at $50,000 by the year of 2026. That is no more. I do believe now it's 45,000. So we are within limits of what the state is saying for our salaries. But again, you have to look at the credentials. The teachers union has things in there saying, if you got a master's degree, we can give you this. But you also, Trustee Gomez, we have to look at our teachers' salaries that is here. We don't want to continue to bring someone and study over our teachers here if we have qualified teachers here to take over that. But they also probably came in at a lower dollar amount at that time due to the finances of when they came in. So that's one big thing, when teachers or someone does not accept what we say, is because we have to look at what we're paying our current, what's their status, and what we can afford to move forward.
I think that's the same argument I would use for what we're proposing to pay a new principal here. We're proposing to pay a new principal much more than we're paying our current principals. So I would use that same argument. This individual, number 6, it shows them as EP, though.
The one that refused?
Yes,
He refused it?
yeah,
He was an EP?
yes.
Okay, well, he didn't want to take the 4,500.
So
For
is that
4,000.
correct then? Because it sounds like you said that he was,
If he was offered a higher amount somewhere. Somewhere else could have been paying their EPs over 45.5.
right,
Yes. Yeah, we just got up to 45.5 last year. We were like in the 30s.
Yeah.
So we wasn't getting no EPs.
Yeah.
We would get the ones that just come out of school.
Yeah.
So we had to
Right.
come up to get competitive to other districts.
yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
so-
and that's why I was making a comment.
And we wanted to max out this year at a higher amount. So we try to go at a higher amount in the contract this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the personnel report?
Oh, I know they're gonna do that. I think I had something else I wanted to say.
No errors, that covers all of our new
see.
business items.
Let me see that I have something on here. So now, Mrs. Snow, we get back to, this, these conferences and things. Did you find what you were looking for?
What was the question on it? I did find the
What,
policy.
Jesse, you want to state what you said, Jesse, about this here?
It would be.
What policy are you looking at?
It's, I'm sorry. It's the policy, the question came up while we were talking about removal of items from the personnel, or the professional development report. And then we got to talking about the timeframes involved with the policy that governs this professional development report. And so it's under 3440, which is actually titled Job-Related Expenses.
Oh, wait a minute, let me write it down. It's under what policy?
Yep. 3440. And I think that the significant thing in this is that it says requests for pre-approval of these expenses need to be submitted at least 90 days prior to the anticipated date of travel. Doesn't necessarily say they have to be approved 90 days ahead of the date of travel, but you are up against your other policy, which says if you deny something, it can't come back for 30 days. So if you reject something, it's gonna take it a minute for it to come back around. And this was, last modified I show on June 5th of '25, so it probably was approved sometime in June, I think.
Well, I guess that, so if we all are gonna just eliminate how many times we go out of the district, and like we said, it pertains to everybody, right? We're saying that, right? So we need to see how many times.
Madam
Well,
President,
that-
can you
that would
repeat the
be a-
question? I'm sorry, I didn't
That
hear.
would be a new
I'm
policy.
asking
The
a
comment,
question.
yeah, I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
I'm asking the question, but go ahead, Mr. Snow.
I'm just saying that would be, I think the comment was that maybe we should consider a policy that limits for everybody across the board, the number of times within a year you can go outside the district for your,
Yeah, I think
for your
that's-
training. And I'm suggesting that would be I don't think that is addressed in any of your current policies, so that would be something that would require an amendment to policy, and I'm not sure, I think you have a similar policy here for support staff, for professional staff, and probably the administration probably fall under professional staff. So you probably would have to make an amendment to a couple different policies in order to accomplish that across the board. There's also one that, 175.1, that talks specifically about board travel reimbursement, so you'd probably have to adjust that one as well.
Madam President,
Yes, trustee Rodriguez.
the PO 3440 is not updated on our website policy,
What's the number, Joel?
3440.
3440.
Yes, if we can
Okay.
get that updated on the most latest policy revision that we've approved by the board.
I would agree, and there's a number of them like that, trustee Rodriguez, so, and not just that one,
Updated, right?
yeah.
So right now, we're just gonna hold off on this? This is what we're gonna do? Until we get, some understanding.
That's fine. Well, I mean,
That's what we'll do. Okay.
What are,
time is
what are we placing a hold, Madam President?
Well, on this here, one that Jesse was speaking about, that we have the policy until we look at it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole report?
No, not the
No.
whole one. No, he's only
No.
talking about
Okay, that's not,
that one. No, baby, just the one that Dr. Bonet has, because he falls in the category with us. As we got to go on certain amount of trips, same thing pertains. So this is what we're saying, that one there. So now what time is it, please?
Madam President, I think we should put that on we should put that up for a board action on Tuesday.
Well, we're discussing it right now.
Right, we're discussing only. We can only discuss. We cannot
Right.
remove.
That's all we're doing is discussing it, right? Okay, so, what time is it? Everybody
The
ready to go
the
home?
board,
Huh?
It's just about 8:59.
Oh, it is there.
Madam President, the board can remove items if they choose
I
to.
think so, that's what I'm trying to do, is remove this until we get the policy to state all of this, Mr. Snow, and that's what you did say we
I
can
think
do.
we're at the
Hold on,
point of
Joey.
board
Hold on,
action.
Mr. Rodriguez, hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Snow,
I think that this is a conversation that needs to take place between now and Tuesday in terms of determining what actually goes on your agenda.
okay.
And it's not unlike any other process of determining what goes on the agenda. I just think that it's not something that necessarily needs to be determined now. I think if I was asked to give an opinion on the spot today, I would say you put the report on the agenda as it currently is structured, and then you discuss it, and if you want to remove an item from it, you do that publicly on Tuesday. That would be my recommendation as of right now, but that's,
But I think you said that me and the superintendent's supposed to do the agenda, right?
that's
So we can do
correct,
that now.
but that's in terms of placement of items on the agenda.
Right.
So if you don't want to consider the professional development report at all, I
Mm-hmm.
think you can eliminate that. But I think if you're talking about, I just want to change the substance of what somebody's presenting to you in a
I want to
report.
just eliminate it all for right now, is what I'm saying, is for the mere fact, because there's too much controversy going on right now with how many meetings we gonna go on, how many trips we gonna go on, and all of this. We do have a policy in place to, approve this beforehand,
I,
if I'm not
think,
mistaken.
I think you might be doing yourself a disservice
Okay,
by
well-
doing that. That might be a little cutting off your nose to spite your face. So I think there's a
I'm not gonna do
little,
anything like that. The conversation came up.
I understand, but I think,
Saying.
I think that it's worth a little bit more discussion beyond today. And I wouldn't necessarily make a decision to pull it just yet.
That's all I asked for, more discussion. That's what I
That's
said
fine.
in the beginning.
The last part, what was the last part?
More discussion.
But what did you say after?
Right, and I wouldn't make a decision to pull it just
I
yet.
didn't say that. I said,
Okay.
I did not say that. I said more discussion.
That's fine.
No, I was just trying to let him finish his
Oh, yeah, okay. So, now, we want to turn the meeting? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tyke here.
Madam President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion made by trustee
Second.
Rodriguez, second by trustee Taylor. Let's get out of here and go home. Now, I want to say